T is key code word. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Good evening, good afternoon, Saturday. And I want to stop into, mainly we're going to watch this interrogation, but I want to give a little bit of backstory. And the backstory is kind of a little, I mean, there's like this really long timeline, but I don't think we need to go through the entire timeline because it will take a while. And so I just figured give some sort of introduction, watch a couple of news clips. We can listen to the 911 call, and then we can get to the interrogation. And basically, this is a story. I guess what's kind of weird about this story, and I don't know much of it. Like, I haven't watched the interrogation yet because I wanted to watch it together with you guys. But this is about a woman that basically lies and pretends that she was kidnapped, accused two Latina women. This was in 2016. We're going to talk a little bit in depth about it, but she made this whole thing up, and I believe it was for a side piece to pretend to disappear. Papini's own plan to have her ex-boyfriend pick her up from the roadside to bring her to Southern California. A woman that was married, no longer married because they're, I think the day of her arrest, he filed divorce papers or whatever. And a woman that self-inflicted, she put self-inflicted wounds on herself. She also branded herself. I think that we're going to see an image of that. Some crazy psychotic shit. And apparently she has like a history of this insanity too. So let me, what's up, man? If you guys can hit like, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Been a while since we did an interrogation. I got some tea too to brew. And let me start around here, keep it kind of simple. And the crazy thing to me too is that they didn't even know, like, they didn't know about this plot or whatever until years later. I mean, they had like search teams while she was gone for the 2 weeks, search teams, all kinds of stuff. For years, they thought that there was two kidnappers on the loose, you know, just to find out that, no, this chick planned this crap herself. It says here, an American woman named Sherri Papini disappeared on November 2nd, 2016, reportedly while out jogging a mile from her home in Redding, California. Papini was 34 years old at the time. She reappeared 3 weeks later. Some say 2, 3, but November 24th, Thanksgiving Day, right? Having been reportedly freed by her captors at 4:30 in the morning, still wearing restraints on the side of the County Road 17 near Interstate 5 in Yolo County, about 150 miles south of where she disappeared. And so this video, I think this is supposedly the site that she was, quote unquote, released. Sherri Papini's release site in Yolo County is dotted by agricultural fields and a smattering of homes and business. Smattering? What is smattering? Smattering? Let me learn this shit real quick. A slight superficial knowledge or of a language or subject, a small amount of something. Okay, so they meant a small amount of homes and businesses. All right, I've never seen that used like that. Smattering of homes and business. Okay. So let me show you guys this. Put some lemon. What's up? What's up? Hoax, Lexa, Crisscross, Diggs, Tammy, me, you, Jazz, hola. Spread. Smatter means spread. So I guess this is the area here. And this chick, they say when she was supposedly released that her hands were binded and she had all this kind of stuff on her. Supermom. With the source. So, let me start with this over here too a little bit. November 2016, Papini disappeared from her Redding neighborhood while out for a jog. The married mom of two returned weeks later, almost hundreds of miles away, dazed, battered, and bruised, and insisted she was held captive captive for 22 days by two Latina women. When Papini was found, she had bindings on her body, self-inflicted injuries, including a swollen nose and blurred brand on her right shoulder, which one of the clips we're going to look at, they show that. Who does that? Like in a plot. I'm just gonna brand myself too. She had other bruises and rashes on many parts of her body, ligature marks on her wrists and ankles, and burns on her left forearm. Nearly 6 years later. Holy crap, right? 6 years later. Imagine getting away with something like that for that long. Papini's kidnapping plot unraveled. She was charged in March for perpetrating the hoax. She ultimately pleaded guilty to 1 count of fraud and 1 of lying to a federal office. One of the things that I wanted to show you too, and this article here is like, the timeline is really, really in depth, which is pretty good, but just to kind of, I thought this was interesting because it kind of shows some sort of a history. April 2017, call records obtained by the Sacramento Bee reveal that Sherri Papini in 2003 allegedly had been harming herself and blaming her mother for her injuries. The revelations reported by the Bee were the latest in the Papini saga. Loretta Griff, Papini's mother, in December 2003, Shasta County Sheriff's Office incident report called authorities to ask for help with her daughter, who Griff alleged had been hurting herself and blaming the injuries on Griff, her mother, the Bee reported. The Bee received the report after filing requests under the California Public Records Act. The report doesn't say whether investigators found evidence that Papini had harmed herself, and the family called the story, I guess they're saying, it's BS. Papini's family, in a statement to ABC News, ripped the Bee's story, calling it shameful. But, I mean, I don't know. To me, it kind of coincides with the psychotic crap that this woman did when pretending to be kidnapped. I want to show you. Let's do this. Because this woman, when she comes back, she starts doing interviews and shit. Before we get to the
after she resurfaced following her fake kidnapping, and what we're learning about how police unraveled her lies. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, has been following this story since the beginning. Good morning to you, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Those new details coming from the first time that police questioned.
Right. That's what they're saying. Lexa says she did the most all to be with her ex. That's what according to the articles, yeah.
Sherri Papini, right after she reappeared. You mentioned that video, never before been seen by the public. Papini wrapped in a ball, a bandage across her nose from a self-inflicted injury, and she describes in incredible detail how she had been held by these fictive captors here in Orange County, and she does so convincingly that this hoax held for nearly 6 years.
That's crazy to me. 6 years.
I feel like
look at this shit.
Sometimes it's easier
Need a full screen on the
with
video.
my eyes closed.
Sure.
In those newly released tapes, a battered and bruised Sherri Papini appears on edge, even reluctant to talk to police just days after her return.
That's another thing I'm scared about.
You're blowing me up.
You
What's
guys.
going on?
I don't know if you're in my corner.
Right.
I know my husband. I know my husband's in my corner, but you know, there was a lot of
Okay,
other
thank you.
things, and I know that you guys know
What?
everything.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing and
Well, and
yucky, and that's weird for me. That's weird for me.
It was the mysterious disappearance.
All right, so here's what Shay told me. She said her ex-boyfriend she dated way before her husband. Okay. You need to read the reports that the FBI released recently live. I should just go. All right, can you send it to me when you have a chance? She bashed her own head too. I think the ground or sink. Who does that? So this chick bashed her head to get that thing on there. Holy moly.
That's embarrassing and
well, and
yucky, and that's weird for me. That's weird for me.
It was the mysterious disappearance that captivated the nation. Sherri Papini, a 34-year-old wife and mother of two, vanished while out on a jog in November 2016. Reappearing just over 3 weeks later on the side of a highway on Thanksgiving morning, claiming she had been taken and held against her will.
That's Yvette. That's what people are. I've seen that reference. I never watched Gone Girl, but I heard it's really good. People are comparing that to Gone Girl.
By two fictitious
You're
women.
right, Camila.
There was a change.
They blame her husband for years. That's what I heard too. They've been blaming this guy, you know, true crime shit, you know what I'm saying? True crime community shit. Blaming this guy for years.
Around my waist.
Okay. Do you know what you were affixed to? Was it like a tether? Was it like a rope?
A metal cable.
About the bathroom. What's that look like?
It just was a standard. There was a crack in the tile. It was a light colored tile that was speckled. There was a crack in the tile.
Her seemingly miraculous story of survival, a complete fabrication. And over the next 6 years, investigators would piece together how Papini had lied about everything, from her fictional abduction to injuries which were largely self-inflicted. DNA from her clothing eventually leading them to her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes.
I didn't kidnap her. You know, I just... friend in need asked me for help, and that was that.
What did you say?
Oh, so this is the ex-boyfriend. I should have streamed on Facebook and Twitch. My bad. I only running YouTube right now. And if you guys could hit me with the like button, I'd appreciate that.
In need
James Reyes.
To her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes.
I didn't kidnap her. You know, I just... friend in need asked me for help, and that was that.
What did you say?
She was trying to get away from her husband. Like, your husband beat you, your husband raped you. I don't know what her deal was.
Is it okay if
You gotta be careful with some of these women too. How many times we heard of stories like that where a woman will go tell some other guy some other story to manipulate the person that they're with, but they want to run away or be with you, or they try to get the ex to kill the current guy or whatever. It almost made me think a little bit of the Side Botham story too. The one we covered recently where the family just vanished and they thought that she was like kidnapped or something like that, or that they disappeared on this trip. And it was actually that they voluntarily had left of their own will, and she was engaged to be married to some other guy. And apparently they had all these issues.
If I go look in that room, the closet, I'm curious if it's the same as she described it.
Ding, 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 ding. This apartment, this closet, and this bathroom look just like the place that Sherri says she was held captive.
Authorities say Papini's allegations of abuse against her husband were unfounded and that James Reyes had no knowledge of her plan. And with Reyes' cooperation, investigators now believed they had solid proof Sherri Papini's kidnapping was a hoax.
The DNA that was on you belongs to James Reyes.
We talked to him. We've been on a polygraph. We talked to everybody around him. We have the rental agreements, phone rental, the car rental agreements. The reason why you lost so much weight is because you stopped eating. The reason why the brain...
So she did all this shit to herself. I'm going to fast forward because I don't want to spoil what we're about to watch. This was the nose bandage. Oh, the 911 call. First, let's hear Keith's, the husband's 911 call.
911, what is your emergency? CHP transfer. Keith is on the line. Hello, can I help you?
Hello? Yeah, so I just got home from work, and my wife wasn't there, which is unusual, and my kids should have been there by now from, like, daycare. So I was like, oh, maybe she went on a walk. I couldn't find her.
And this chick left the kids at the daycare, just dipped.
So I called the daycare to see what time she picked up the kids. The kids were never
picked up.
So I got freaked out, so I hit, like, the Find My iPhone app thing.
2 kids.
And it said that it showed her phone, like, at our end of our driveway. We don't have really good service.
Okay.
Not the end of our driveway, but the end of our street. So I just drove down there, and I saw her phone with her headphones because she started running again. And I found her phone, and it's got, like, hair ripped out of it, like, in the headphones. So I'm, like, totally freaked.
And this chick, I guess she planted that. The cell phone with, like, the I don't know, the headphones wrapped around, and, like, she just, like, let me just put a strand of my hair on this, too. Just put some strands of hair on this to make it look like...
Freaking out, thinking, like, somebody, like...
He tracked her because he used the Find My Phone app on the iPhone, and so he tracked not really her, but her cell phone, and that's when he found the phone by itself with the hair strands or whatever.
What's your...
Grabbed her.
Okay, what's your address?
Redding.
Okay, what's your last name?
Yes. Papini, P-A-P-I-N-I.
And your first name?
Keith.
K-E-I-T-H?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go pick up your children?
No, I'm going to call my mom and have her do it.
Okay. What's your wife's name?
I'm going to, like, knock on every door. Sherri. S-H-E-R-R-I.
And same last name?
Yes.
She white, female?
Yes.
What's her date of birth?
It is June 11th, 1982.
Is her vehicle there? Does she not have a vehicle?
She has a vehicle that's at the house.
Okay, the vehicle is at the house?
She's running.
How? Okay.
Yes, I'm in it right now driving, and I took a picture of her phone on the ground before I picked it up.
Okay, how tall is she?
5'3", 5'4".
How much does she weigh?
100 pounds.
Eye color?
Like a bluish blue.
Okay, hair color?
Blonde.
Do you know what she was wearing? Is there
No
something
idea.
she always wears?
I'm assuming she went running, so
Okay,
probably
there's-
running athletic type clothes.
Okay, there's not an outfit she always wears or anything like that. Does she run with a dog or by herself?
By herself.
Okay. What time were the kids
She just started running again, and we live in a... No,
When's the
I'm
last
sorry,
time?
I'm Superman right
When's the last time you heard from her?
now. She sent me a text asking me if I was coming home for lunch.
What time was
She's got a
that?
whole bunch of mixed... give me 1 second. She sent me a text at 10:47 asking me if I was coming home from lunch from work. And I said, sorry, long day. And that was the last. Never spoke to her on the phone, never any other contact.
Okay, and what time are the kids supposed to be picked up?
Way before 5:30, she usually goes to like
55 pages.
4:45.
Okay.
4:30, 4:45.
Okay, are you headed back to the house or where are you at right now?
I'm at the end of the driveway where I'm at the Old Oregon Trail and Sunrise where they meet, because that's right where I found her phone on the ground. You're telling me that something happened to her is the way I'm looking at it. Then there was hair like in the headphones.
That's pretty sick to do that, yo. To lead somebody on like that, the mother of your kids, your husband. You put some strands of hair and you leave your phone there so you can use the app to find the phone by itself. And then you just leave these kids at the daycare with the sick mentality too that you're gonna make them also say like, "Damn, she would never do that. Why would she leave the kids behind?" So something must have happened. She thought of all that crap.
It got ripped off with like the gravel.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know
It's
you're
okay.
trying to keep me calm, but obviously.
Yeah. What kind of vehicle are you in?
I'm in a black Kia Optima. Oh my God.
Okay.
And we live down kind of a sketchy street, so I definitely, I don't know if I'm allowed to knock on everybody's door, but I will if I'm allowed to do that.
Well, let's just have the officers contact you so they can start, processing everything, figure out what's going on, okay? And I understand you're freaking out a little bit.
And so what I'm being told too, Shay told me that this woman lied to her ex, saying her husband was abusing her for a long time. That's the thing. Sometimes some of these women do, they manipulate the other guy or whatever. I can't remember for sure if it was her that also made multiple fake emails. Lord almighty, pretending to be her husband and threatening the ex. Okay. The ex and his family knew she was staying with him while all this was going on too. At least while they were looking for her. They knew where she was, but they didn't call it in. Wow. Wow.
We want to make sure we get your kids, make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I'm going to call my mom and have her.
Yeah, they've been stuck at this. Your phone number?
Yes. Do you want me to wait right here for somebody?
If you want to head back to your residence so they can contact you there, and in case she does return.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have them contact you at your residence. Call us back if anything changes, all right?
All right, so they're going to call the number you just took down, the 355?
They'll probably call you when they're on their way, and they're going to come out in person.
Okay.
All right, so just a few more things, and I kind of want to jump into the interrogation. And I saw some people asking this. So on March 3rd, 2022, Papini was arrested on charges for making false statements. Keep in mind, again, this was in 2016 this whole thing started. March 3rd, 2022, arrested on charges of making false statements to federal law enforcement officers and for mail fraud, according to the Department of Justice. Papini fabricated the story of her abduction. She had reportedly been staying with a former boyfriend during the time she was supposedly missing and had harmed herself in order to give credence to her lies. Damn, bro. In August 2020, she stood by her story when questioned by federal agent and detective from Shasta County Sheriff's Office, despite being advised that it was a crime to lie to a federal agent. Papini was charged with mail fraud, as she had received $30,000 from California's Victim Compensation Board between 2017 and 2021. So she's collecting on behalf of victims and shit too. On March 9, 2022, Papini was released from jail before her trial on a $120,000 bond. And after surrendering her passport, she and her lawyer had no comment on the allegations against her. Papini faced up to 25 years in prison between the charges of mail fraud and lying to a federal officer. However, 6 weeks after her arrest, Papini signed a plea deal admitting that she had orchestrated the hoax. In September 2022, she was sentenced to 18 months in prison and a $300,000 fine. She saved her ass by doing that. Lying supermom. I think this one here shows the branding. I wanted to show you guys that real quick too.
Video of the notorious California supermom with a bandage across her nose. Sherri Papini.
And I wonder, I don't know if Shay's still watching. How did she even get dubbed supermom? Everybody just gets that dub. I'm a supermom. How?
Papini is all balled up, clutching her knees to her chest as she spins her lies about having been kidnapped.
I feel like sometimes it's easier.
That's kind of loud. Let me fix that. Gypsy Lola, thank you so much for the super chat. And I need to watch that, man. People keep telling me to watch this. She says she must have watched Gone Girl a whole year to plan this out.
With
like
my
the same
eyes
plot.
closed?
Sure.
Is that okay?
This just released video, first obtained by 2020, was recorded by cops at her home in Redding, California in 2016, with her husband Keith by her side. Sherri asks cops for permission to close her eyes as she relates the tale of being chained and tortured for 3 weeks by abductors. Now revealed to be...
That's the branding right there. I mean, I don't know what she was trying to do there, bro. I guess really, you gotta be, what is the worst type of liar? What is that? Pathological, habitual? Is there a worst type? Is there levels to the lying? What's the worst type of lie?
A complete hoax.
How about the bathroom? What's that look like?
It was always hands on the wall. That very first shower that I had hurt really bad because the burn was fresh.
Pathological.
And the water was running over it, and there was other open wounds, and it just...
In reality, Sherri inflicted the injuries on herself to bolster her lies, even breaking her nose with a hockey stick.
I can't remember if
hockey stick.
If I was hit with something, if I was stuck with something, and that's what I was asking too. If I was tased, wouldn't I remember? Or would there be a scar? Would there be a mark?
Cops say DNA shows she was actually hiding out with her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes, at a love shack in Costa Mesa, California. I spoke to ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, about tonight's 2020 on Sherri Papini. Why are people so fascinated by Sherri Papini?
I think because it's so unfathomable that someone who seems to have everything would do that.
That's true. Stir Crazy, somebody highlighted this comment. Stir Crazy says she abducted herself. She should get the same sentence as someone that abducts people.
Yes. Ultimately, investigators believe that the motive here was attention.
I know that
attention.
You guys know about everything.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing and
And
yucky, and that's weird for me. That's weird for me.
Sherri Papini will surrender November 8th to begin her 18-month sentence for the kidnapping hoax.
All right, so I think we could start. We can start. And I don't know where I should place myself. Maybe up here or something. This is an hour and 25 minutes, so buckle in. I'll adjust the audio if needed. Captions are turned on the live stream, so just at the bottom, if you need captions, turn on the captions. And if you could hit like, I'd appreciate it, please. Yeah,
But some stuff's come up. So we've
Oh,
always had
yes. They're divorced. Yeah.
the DNA out there in the world.
Sorry, Tom, before we get too far, obviously, just like always, thank you for coming. We appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us.
Yeah.
As always, your presence here is voluntary.
Yeah.
You can go at any time, and all we want is truthful statements because it's a crime to lie to federal officers.
Wow, yeah. Oh, that's good.
Understood?
Yeah.
Sorry, forget about that part. So there's always been DNA out there, and we've done testing after testing. We've gone out to like the Parabon, which is a private company. That all, like,
This is, I see you guys in the chat. I believe this is her husband. He has no idea. I don't believe he has. I haven't watched this yet, but I believe this guy has no idea. So he's just in there, I don't think he has any idea.
The genetics, and we've just hit wall after wall after wall. But recently, we found a familia DNA hit. So what that does, it just tells us it came from a certain person. So like the mother or the father or a son or an uncle or however that is, it just hits that, like somewhere in this family tree is where the DNA comes from.
Okay.
So with that, we open up the investigation. We go into who could it be within the family. So once we started opening up those doors and looking through the family members and just trying to see Facebook stalking them, criminal histories, just that normal investigation that we do once we start looking into things, we started finding some interesting things.
Okay.
So one of the things that came out to us, is there anything in there that looks
of interest or notable?
Oh, God.
And that's an awkward photo, but
yeah.
No.
So the table, the picture's a little grained out. So
there's, to me, I see a table there that somewhat looks like something you described to me in the past, and then I see wood paneling. Talking about the room.
Yeah, we noted both of those things back in August of 2017. Is when we spoke with you about, and you showed us this picture of the table. Do you remember that, Sherri?
Yes, I do.
And so when we were trolling through this, Facebook page, we saw just the edge of that table.
Yeah.
Denise caught it, in fact.
Oh, cool.
Denise said, "Hey, Peter, look at this table." And I was like, "Oh wait, you're right."
Yeah.
And it has the wood paneling. So we're like, well, where was that photo taken, right? And so we're trying to figure that out.
So
okay.
So that's led us obviously now to obviously this Facebook page has a person. It's got like people tagged into it, so it has, so Peter has a.
But that's still a valid memory, right? Is that this was the table?
Yeah.
A table like this was the table you were on when you were branded?
And we've been talking about that a lot because so many memories are so faded now.
It's been a long time.
It's been a really long time. So like details and things like that, we did the best that we could to take notes on it and all of that, but a lot of it's really hard.
Sure.
It's hard to think about.
Yeah, no, I see both those from what she told me. So.
Okay.
This is the sketch too that Lexus sent me this, that she gave supposedly of the supposed two Latina woman that took her and abducted her. She gave this this details, and they made a sketch. So they were literally looking for people that had allegedly abducted her but didn't. All part of the story. She had the FBI and everybody going.
That was of interest. With that, we started looking at different people and who might be involved and just trying to figure it out. And I wanted to show you this picture. And obviously, people can change their weight, people can change the color of their hair. Don't. Just because the photo might be a little bit different, as you know, women like to change their hair and their makeup, their weight can change, so that might be a little bit different. But we wanted to take a look at this six-pack and see if you recognize anybody, see these 6 photos. You don't feel like you have to provide an answer. There's no right or wrong answer. Just let us know if you see anybody in the photo that you do recognize, and if you do.
Troll the FBI for 6 years, Chris says, and gets 18 months.
We'll talk about how. Okay.
And there was even one of the articles that I was reading that the police said that they believed her story. Like they were saying they don't believe that they're looking for abductors. They believe her story. We'll look at it later, but.
Keith, if you could just wait not to say anything until that way we don't influence.
Wish it was HD. Like we could see a better quality.
I don't think so.
So nobody jumps out?
I mean, this one a little bit, but
Can you say this one a little bit? Which number is it?
number 3.
And when you're ready, I'll show you another
Nothing's
one.
really like,
There's nothing in there that says, oh yeah, that's her.
no.
Okay.
Like trying to picture her with different hair and stuff.
It's a pleasant group of people.
And again, Keith, if you can just
Same thing.
Do you have a tissue? It's hard because the other photos are distracting me. Can you give me another piece of paper, if you don't mind?
Another piece?
Yeah, I want to
Just like
cover.
this one upside down?
Yes. I want to look at them one by one. I think
Sure.
it's easier. A little distracting. There we go. Thank you. She's got that puffy under those eyes, but I don't know. This is really hard.
Take your time.
I mean, for her, like I said, if it's even close, it's worth telling you guys, obviously, to look at it, right? Or,
Well, no, it's
or does
just,
it need to?
obviously, we know they're masked. We know there's already hurdles to come about.
Just
So
another
it's-
tool, another way to.
Just another, and obviously, because you don't know the people. If you knew the people, then we can show pictures, but
Let me try that trick with this one. That's a little easier. Yeah,
It's crazy.
I don't know. For some reason, it makes it harder when you're looking at like a crowd of.
Trying to mess up the evidence. Or the fake evidence.
Like Peter said, different color hair and dyes and all that kind of stuff.
Like I'm trying not to get my hopes up. I would say right here is what's drawing me to this photo.
So on photo number 5,
Yeah.
Marty, this is the first one we showed you. This is the second one we showed you. So on 6-bet number 2,
But like you were saying, if someone were to lose weight, that would change.
you're drawn to photo number 5?
Yes,
Features of photo number 5?
correct.
and again, just for the record and for when you go back, like number 1 is, when you say 3 is similar, she's similar to the younger female that we've always described in everything.
This part right here doesn't really match what I'm remembering, but
The
yes.
hairline doesn't match?
Smaller one, older one.
And just because it's been a long time, can you remind me what the younger one did, like the main parts of it compared to the older one, just for the last, like, clarity of stuff? So for the record, so
The younger one's the one that let me go
Okay.
and was the nicer of the two.
Okay.
The older one was really abusive and really mean and is the one that did all the really terrible things.
Okay. And that That's my memory too. Just trying to reference it for our notes and.
Just so we don't have to say, oh, she was referring to the second interview back in 2017.
Hard. I put the Memphis names in my head, but they're really good.
Getting her comfortable.
Is number 3 alive in that photo?
Laughing, getting her comfortable.
And then one more.
Dude. Oh, there was something else supposed to show you guys too. I forgot. That's towards the end, I guess. There's another video of her that was released. Her running in front of a church or something. Like she really went through with this whole hoax plan. Now what I'm thinking too, so this guy didn't know, the husband didn't know all this time until years later is what it seemed like to me. When did he file for the divorce?
I don't think anyone in this one really.
So for suspect number 3, nobody really.
I don't think so.
So we have more pictures. That's not the end of the road. So, like I said, with the female DNA, obviously we saw that first picture that has the wood paneling. And it's got the table, right? So that's ultimately what led us to those pictures, which then snowballed us down the road that we're eventually at and where we are.
So were you able to find like where that house is?
Yes.
And what? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
That's where I was going next.
Oh, she's like mad. Like, what was that?
So, like I said, with the female DNA, obviously we saw that first picture that has the wood paneling. And it's got the table, right? So that's ultimately what led us to those pictures, which then snowballed us down the road that we're eventually at and where we are.
So were you able to find like where that house is?
Yes.
And what? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Bruh. She's probably in her head like, oh my God, what? How?
That's where I was going next.
To the top 1 or 2.
And may I ask, how did we even get to that point? How did we get that photo? Based off
familia DNA.
So they said, they came back and said, oh, here's some people related in this familia.
There's about 40 people total.
That's a good thing, I guess.
But 40 is better than
you just started going through and then
130, whatever
boom,
the numbers
that caught your eye.
Yeah, we started looking at everything that we could. Phones, online presence, criminal history, Facebook photos, DMV photo, what they
You
drive.
guys are still on.
And like he said, Denise is obviously, you guys are aware, Denise is at a different location now. She's the one that found that picture. So we cast a wide net to start finding certain aspects.
Is she still working on the case even though she's in?
Not officially, but I always call her and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
I love her so much. I'm
But yeah,
so
she's still
sad.
working on it in an informal way.
So
if you look at this closet,
obviously there's stuff in there now.
I'm not looking at the stuff.
Wow. I'm kind of blown away at the lengths. So that whether just feeding her some random closet? Or are they feeding her a closet where the ex's closet or something? Or it's a random closet? What's going on?
I literally was cleaning papers out yesterday and found that drawing that you did.
Huh?
I haven't even looked at the picture yet, but I've seen it now. Can I look at it?
you remember this part?
Yes. I just found the original one of that I was trying to explain.
It's a little bit different, but it's pretty, excuse my language, it's pretty fucking similar. But it's different.
What's different or what's the same?
It's hard, there's a lot of shit in the photos, but.
Well, let's focus on let's focus on those two because there's less color. I've walked the streets with my wife in Mexico, and we went through every shop because of the color changes. No, not because there was anything new in it, just the color.
Now, can I ask a question? Is this from the same house as that?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
What do you see in this photo, Sherri? Like what? You said it looks very similar. What's similar?
This is what I'm remembering, that feeling, you know, grabbing it and feeling that feeling. But this part is different. This part is different. That definitely
So you're saying this metal part, it looks the same as what you remember, but this piece right here.
This part doesn't look the same, right?
And what was the difference in it?
That there was a lot more. There was a lot more there.
Like bulkier?
Yes, thank you.
I don't think the pictures really show.
Maybe look at this. Is it more metal or like beefier, like
if you look
stronger?
At this side of it a little bit more.
It's basically the width of a plywood, a sheet of plywood.
Oh.
It's like a piece of plywood almost.
It didn't look like that.
Yeah, it looks blown up, so it makes it look like it's that thick, but it's about like 3/4 inch somewhere.
It's probably like half inch. It's
Half
almost
inch. Okay, yeah, this looks big in the picture.
Yeah, it didn't look like that.
Okay, but similar. Besides the metal part, anything else similar?
I mean, the metal part?
What about one shelf versus two shelves?
Oh, I think there was 2 shelves, but now I'm having trouble remembering. I think there was 2. I'm pretty sure there was 2. Maybe there was 2? I don't know. I'm focusing on this part right now. I'm sorry.
Sure. So, that's fine. Window. With the wood paneling. Trying to ignore the TV and stuff. I don't think you had a TV with you, right?
Definitely not.
She's jumpy too.
What am I looking for the window? Do you want to know if it's like the same height?
Well, the type of window, the wall itself, anything from these photos that make you believe that this was where you were being held.
I feel like this wood paneling is too thick, but I mean,
you mean this
there
way?
was wood paneling, but I can't remember something like that being there, and I don't remember.
That's
remember
fine.
it going all the way up to the window is what I'm having trouble remembering.
The window in that photo has holes along the edges.
There's holes.
You know what you mean by that, right?
Yeah, hold on a second here.
We're going fast. Sorry.
We don't mean to overwhelm you. We're just trying to draw your attention.
I'm trying to figure out if the husband knows or not at this point. I don't know if somebody knows in the chat or we should just keep watching. Because my friend, some of the FBI basically used him to get all the info. Like the husband did volunteer to record his wife, but I don't know. I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. And what pictures are they showing her? That's what I'm wondering too. What is it? The actual place where she was staying at with the ex? Oh, the husband doesn't know. Okay, I'm told the husband doesn't know. Okay. At this point, he doesn't know. I think during this thing he finds out, but right now he doesn't know. Okay, it's coming. Let's keep watching.
Maybe we know it. And we want to know how that compares with what you
the window compared
remember.
to the wood paneling, because it getting just, I mean, that's probably not important.
I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk or not, but the obvious is those are screw holes, right? Is that what you were getting at?
They're just holes.
Holes, screw, nail, something.
Okay. For a board.
Oh, the ex's house? Oh, shit. The husband has no idea. Okay, the chat's saying it too.
So is it fair to say that the paneling, like wood paneling below and sheetrock above, is what you remember, but you can't recall details about the ledge and the difference in width of these?
Went up to the window. That's
Okay.
exactly what I was drawn to. Is that this is touching the
How it
window?
meets the window?
And I don't.
Threshold?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something's going funky with that. Something
Sure.
seems.
Well, and those pictures could be long before or after. Well, I don't know about
We
after,
could
but-
be off base.
That and it couldn't even be a detail that's flipping important.
So far, it was everything I managed.
So one of the things that we always noted in the bathroom description is just the weird layout of the bathroom. So do you remember the layout of the bathroom?
Yes. Well,
Let's talk about the best description, and then we'll start showing some pictures.
there's door, toilet, sink, tub. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So you walk in the door, first there's a toilet.
Yes.
On the
Right, which side?
If I'm.
She's the
It's
worst
been a
in the
while.
world with just in general.
I am. I don't know.
But whatever, you walk in the door, on one left or right, you have a toilet, then,
I want to say it's on the left. I'm sorry.
that's fine.
I want to say toilet on the left.
Okay.
She laughing or crying? I guess she's laughing.
So maybe a toilet on the left,
Okay, hold on. Toilet on the side.
toilet on the side, and then what's
Toilet
next?
on the side. Sink. Tub.
Okay.
And that's a unique thing about bathrooms.
Yes.
We all
Yep.
agree with
Hard
that.
to change where
Yeah.
Said
that
that
sewer will go,
day
right?
one.
It takes some expense to do that.
Yes. Yes.
Blue Ivy.
I think it's the first one. I can say.
I keep turning it upside down. Let's get it all up. It's gonna turn it upside down. All right, now I'm ready.
Thank you for the super chat, Blue. That was funny last night.
Well, that's just pleasant.
Don't pay attention to that magazine.
I mean,
Is that the first thing that you
Yeah.
found in the magazine?
oh, come on, guys.
We were talking about the order. We were talking
something.
about the order. Plus, the magazine's not open, so
I
you're
mean,
good.
this doesn't look like the bathroom to me, but the order is, yes, this is the type of order, but this is not what it looked like to me.
And
So the order is correct, but you don't recognize the bathroom as being what you recall. Do you remember there was a detail about the shower that you provided previously? About the type of something on the tile or something like that? Do you remember
That
any
there
of
was
those?
tile in the tub, there was a crack.
Where was the crack? It's not a memory test. If you don't remember, that's fine. But we remembered that detail when we took some of these photos, and we were just trying to bump it up against what you might remember.
I don't know.
In general, are we talking about, okay?
Sorry.
That's okay. You take your time.
I don't know. I remember there's a crack, I'm not.
So for like trying to, do you remember if it was high or low? Was it any of those like details?
Horizontal, vertical. One tile, lots of tiles.
not sure if I'm supposed to. Can I talk or not?
Sure. Unless she tells you she.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to like get myself there and
Just
I don't.
as a reminder, I do remember when we went to my grandma's house,
Mhm.
you didn't like her tile because it reminded you of that. I think I sent.
You sent us a picture.
Yes.
That's why I would say we.
That's what I just want to remind her, because if you think of that, because I can't even think of what her tile looks like right now, but I do remember you didn't like that at all. But I can't remember the crack. I remember you told me a crack, but I don't remember where you told me. Or else I'd bring it up. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so nervous of like saying something that's not gonna be right, so I just can't remember. I don't
Like
know.
I said in the beginning, we only want the truth, and so whatever is the best understanding or memory that you have.
We'll get there today.
And my direction is obviously not the best.
So then this is starting to
but
So this crack is in a different location than this crack, which is probably better viewed in this photo. But this is the same bathroom we showed you,
this is
original, the same one with the
Charming magazine on the
Sports Illustrated.
Great.
Yes.
Look at that angry.
Okay, so nothing jumps out at you at that photo?
We're not trying to overwhelm you. Obviously, it's been a long road, and here we are.
If we could go back to the closet really quick, though, I remember when you were talking about being chained into the closet and trying to figure out a way to get loose. You talked about working on a screw, right?
Uh-huh.
And what happened to that screw when you were done with it?
I dug a hole in the wall and poked it into the wall.
Okay. Because this is an interesting photo as well.
Is this in the closet?
That's in the closet.
No, it was drywall.
It was into the drywall.
It was into drywall, but
By the electric plug, if I remember right.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe not that one.
No.
So, we're showing you all of this because ultimately this is the house that you were at. We talked to the people who live there.
Sorry.
We found the house. We found who was involved. We talked to who was involved. We talked to family who knows that you were there, and talked to a couple people talked to one guy.
Look at it.
Who did see you during this event. Unfortunately, there's a lot of truths. There's a lot of things that were said that we have always confirmed. That we've always said. There's a lot of truths, and then there's some unknowns. Like one of the simple ones, like, well, this description of the bathroom is just weird. Like that was like an argument in all of our offices where we were sitting there like this part's weird. But then we find a house with it. Then the all thread through the thing, that's just weird.
It's unique to this place. Like that's a pretty custom. You can't just go out to IKEA and buy a closet that looks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So once we have all those things and we start talking to the person who lives here, who had lived there, who still lives there, start talking to his family and starting that whole investigation, peeling one thing back after another, doing the same thing we've done for the last 4 years. It led us to a specific person, but not a female. It led us to the car that picked you up, but not an SUV. So there's lots of different aspects that are truths and falses. And we're to the point now that nobody would have ever imagined that this would have blown up the way that it did. So I've been a cop 15 years. I've never seen the media scale that this garnered pretty quickly. How long have you been in law enforcement now?
12 years in the Bureau.
So, like, of the minds, Brian, who's been around 20 plus years, people who've been in my office like 25, 30 plus years, the media attention that this got out was insane. So I think with that being said, some choices and some decisions ultimately changed the original path of what happened. I don't think anybody would have wished the media frenzy that occurred, like for this event, no matter what the situation, if it was a kid, because the media skewed so many facts. It brought so many people in from the woodwork that if we didn't have the woodwork, we wouldn't have the noise.
And that brings a lot of pressure when you get that kind of scrutiny.
So we'd like to talk to you more about those things, and we can do it with Keith here, or we can ask Keith to leave. It's whatever you're comfortable with, so we can break down some of the problems. If you want Keith here, all we want is to have the truth. All we want is to be able to tell the truth. That's all we've ever wanted from day one. we talked with you for hours, we've been there, we've done all these different things, waiting for something, waiting for it to break, waiting for us to leak something to hear. Because the DNA came back, like I said, to a specific person. That specific person told us very specific things. His family then told us specific things. So if we can talk with Keith or without Keith here, what would you like?
Keith seems relaxed. If it was me, I'm the husband. Yo, you better keep me here. And I'd be grilling her too. Like, what? Who you been with all this time? Those couple of weeks. He's relaxed. I would be tense.
It's completely up to you. And like I've always said, I wanted you to have a voice. I wanted you to make decisions. I wanted you to control certain aspects. I think I told you that on the first interview we ever had. I never want to bully you. I never want you to believe I'm bullying you.
Bully.
I want you to take back control. That's one of those things. This is that take back control of the interview.
Yeah, it's probably shocked, right?
Which I promised you to do the first time we talked, if you remember that. Actually, we were in Mount Shasta, so the second time we talked.
It's been a long road, Sherri, but we just want to talk to you. We can have Keith step out if that's going to make you more comfortable.
But it's up to you.
Do you want to step out or do you want to stay?
Hell no.
Obviously, I want to stay.
Yeah, you crazy? Step out.
Or we can do a little bit of both. Talk to you alone first and then have him come back in.
Step out for what? That's what I'm saying. That's my woman, my girl, whatever. Yo, for what?
It's completely up to you. And that's why I'm not even looking at Keith. I don't care about your opinion, Keith. What we want out of this is the truth. So we can get ahead of some things, so we can help control things.
Bro.
How crazy things got.
This shit is years later.
If I say certain things, what's Keith's reaction? Because you don't know what I'm going to say, right? So I don't know Keith's reaction either. So if I say other things like, oh, Keith won't worry about that, he can come back in. But I'd rather give you the opportunity to hear things, be able to judge it, because at everything, right, I'm saying things to you that are making you nervous. It's making Keith nervous. It's changing the element, right? We changed the tone of the interview.
You can feel it already in the room from the way you walked into what you're feeling right now.
Well, I mean, law enforcement has always been an issue, so.
Okay.
So if you want Keith to leave, I'll ask Keith nicely to leave. If you don't want Keith to leave, then he can sit here.
Let's press on. We'll press on.
And we'll move on to the next stages. But I want to give you that opportunity first. But obviously everything's fearful. If you tell him to leave and what I'm going to say is benign, then he's we can pull him back in the room. Like, hey, Keith, come back in. This is what we talked about. So there's that fear of him wigging out. Why is she trying to hide something from me? There is none. If you can help me.
Yeah, there's no trick here. We're just trying to make sure that you're as comfortable to talk as you can be to talk to us, truthfully.
They're asking you. They're not asking me. Obviously, I would want to be here, and whatever needs to come out.
And you can change your mind in the future too, if you
But
want
no
to
matter what,
change
it's
it.
going to get out. So.
Like I said in the beginning, you're free to go. So if you wanted to chat with them privately, that's fine too. But we want to talk to you.
And we can leave the room, give you guys the room for a couple minutes. This next stage of things could be benign, could be like, we forgot to tell you this, or oh yeah, all of these things make sense now. I could tell you the puzzle that makes it all come together, or I can tell the puzzle that crashes everything apart. I don't know what that piece is, honestly. All I know is facts. All I know is certain specific items that will either tear the castle down or is going to build the castle up. And I don't want to tear the castle down and not give you the ability.
He's trying to like give her a heads up, like, you know what's going on. This is Keith here. It's going to be a big issue. The castle, I don't know, maybe their relationship, their foundation, whatever.
To then fix your own castle, even if it's just a small thing here or it's the whole castle. I want you to be able to
to choose that.
You want to tell them first while we're gone, and then we tell you? Or right now we just tell you both?
So we can step out of the room, let you guys talk, because I don't know what information I'm going to do, if it's life-changing news or if it's, oh yeah, everything's fine. I just don't know what it is.
That'd be cool with me.
Usually, right, we show the pictures because everybody's invested in this picture. Keith do the drawings. Keith's the one who gave this stuff. So Keith has always been a part of your memory for small details. And that's why Keith's been in here this whole time. And that's why...
He makes me feel safe anyway.
Absolutely. He makes you feel safe too. We can continue on. How you can change your mind.
Absolutely. And again, I just don't know what the pieces are. So if I would say, hey, this is going to bring the whole world down, I'd tell you, this is going to bring the whole world down. And then we need to talk alone. Or I would suggest we talk alone. But that's completely up to you guys because I don't know.
I just want to talk.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Here's your chance. Not that it means much because you're already caught, but it's years later.
You need to stop what you're doing and tell me the truth. I don't like anything that's happening. Yeah, whatever you're doing right now doesn't mean stuff to me. Okay, the bus that guy knows about what's going on, so you need to explain to me.
I don't give a shit about that. I don't want them to find her. I don't want them to find her. I don't want her to be arrested. I don't want to press charges on her. I don't want to find her.
Explain to me right now that
Still going with the lie, seems like. The cry thing, too. That's the thing that people do, too.
I don't know. I don't want them to find her. You're not listening to me.
Tell me why.
Because she saved my life.
But tell me, honey, there's obviously something going on. There's obviously something. Tell me this is going to be really bad if you don't tell me.
Look at how you're being right now. I am fucking with you.
No, I'm not being
right now. I don't.
I think she just said they're effing with you. And she's trying to claim this person saved her life. They don't want
them to find her. I don't want to press charges, and I don't want to go down that road.
But you tell her?
I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to arrest her because she saved my life, and she's the reason why I get to hold my children every single day.
And this, I don't want to get in trouble.
Using the children too in your lie.
But when you find her,
I don't want them to arrest her.
Why?
Because she saved my life.
So you don't press charges. They still need to find out who it is. No matter what happens, you think just sits here. This comes out, they found the house, it's over. Whatever happened is over. And it doesn't matter what you say. The girl's gonna get in trouble. So, you need to tell them the truth. Everyone the truth. If you don't want to press charges, then that's up to you. You're not making sense to me. To the point where I'm getting scared now. So you need to tell me what's going on.
I bumped it on. Oh.
Yeah. Or I can talk to him and tell him what you're thinking.
When you get home later. Well, I don't think she's going home.
Do you want me in the room or not?
And obviously,
hopefully you've had a chance to chat briefly.
The fears
later, maybe. But I'd rather you just answer the question.
Nothing that I'll say to you, I won't eventually tell him if you want me to.
Do you want me to just tell him what your fears are?
We would love to hear what your fears are. Because we want to be able to address them as best we can.
I don't know.
move the seat away.
Like you're in the driver's seat right now.
I think it's easier to control things once you know what the information is, to be honest with you, Sherri. So I can tell you what it is.
Oh, she went home?
Say what it is when Keith leaves, and then you can say yes or no, whether or not you want him in there for the rest of it.
For right now, he's just, am I in the room or in my other room? So that's the...
And I'm to the point where if you want him here, we'll just go on with the conversation.
As long as you're not interrupting or causing a disturbance.
I'll stay over here.
But if he steps out, I can say a name, and then you can choose whether you want him in here for the rest of it or not. It's completely up to you. Or I can just continue on, and again, like I said, I wanted you to always have control over certain aspects of stuff. We're not to a point where anybody's going to jail yet. We're not to a point of anything like that. We're just still at the talking stage. We're at the control stage.
You seem scared, Sherri.
No, it's not scared.
What is it?
It's all about her.
When you don't answer, Sherri, it makes me concerned because I want to hear what your answers are, and I want to be able to understand.
The only way to control things is for us to know.
Oh, wait, is he taking off his ring?
I don't want you to find her.
Is that, I don't know, or is he just adjusting it? I was like,
The only way to control things is for us to know.
wait, maybe is that the right hand supposed to be?
I don't want you to find her.
We're not going to find her.
Take it for
She's the reason why I get to see my children every day.
I agree, but we're not going to find her.
She's the reason? What do you mean by that?
No, Lotus?
Means the younger one let her go. Right? That's what you're referring to?
bad.
We're not going to find her. And we can just skip to the rock into the water and ruffle up the pond if we want to now. Again, this is your last opportunity. This is the last time if you want to do this alone or with Keith. Keith's been through this also on a different level. So I'm ready I'm ready to move on and throw the dart and throw the rock and see what happens to the water. But Sherri, look at me. What do you want?
I don't want her to get in trouble.
She's not going to get in trouble. So the DNA came back to James Reyes.
The DNA that was on you belongs to James Reyes.
The picture, and can I get the picture? The picture of the table is James Reyes' little brother who died recently. We talked to him. He's been on a polygraph. We talked to everybody around him. We have the rental agreements, phone rental, the car rental agreements. We have everything that says that he said he told the truth.
That's James' brother, deceased, Nick.
So everything, you've told us so many truths in this situation. The reason why you can describe the room is because you stayed in the room in the dark for hours, for days on end. The reason why you lost so much weight is because you stopped eating. The reason why you got a rash on your arm is because you cleaned his house. The reason why the brand is because he went to the store, bought the branding tools, and branded you. The reason why your nose was broke is because of a hockey stick. I know all of those things.
And Lotus said in the chat that this chick had asked her ex-boyfriend to hit her with the hockey stick.
And I know there was no sex. I know all of that because he passed a polygraph test. That said, it's not an abduction.
She asked me to come get her.
No.
I rented a car.
No.
I drove up and picked her up. He passed the polygraph test, Sherri.
If that's not what happened, what did happen, Sherri?
I don't know. No, there's no way it's James. There's no way. There's no way.
The DNA doesn't lie.
His DNA
was on you.
There's no way.
Robert saw you in the house while you were down there. While everything spun out of control, his cousin. Why everything ran out of control on the initial.
There's no way.
It's 100% Robert's or James's DNA.
We even collected blonde hairs from the room.
There's no way it's James. There's no way.
Tell me that it is.
Why are you saying it's not James? Why are you saying it's not?
He loved me.
What's up?
We were friends.
Mhm.
There's no way.
And he came and got you because you asked him.
No.
When was the last time you had contact with James?
His brother died.
Brother died in 2017. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Was it before or after the abduction?
Before.
Before.
When was the last time you saw James?
Forever ago, when I lived in Southern California.
So the last person-to-person contact you had with him was back in 2006? When you were living in Southern California?
I don't know.
So
was it prior to your marriage?
It's him. There is no way it's him.
Well, it is James.
The DNA tells us that it was his DNA on you.
So she's still trying to put an act on? Is she going to try to say that the two Latina women were working for him? It's kind of fascinating to see these people, because I've encountered, I think, like one or two personally in my life that are like habitual psychological liars. And it's like with these people, no matter what they're caught in, like they just still keep the act. They keep going. It's like they can't face it. Even with DNA proof and like pictures and evidence, it almost reminds me of some of these YouTube people that they operate only off of lies. And when truth is presented, they still can't process it. It's like that. It's kind of crazy to see it like this. And she's still going.
The DNA alone says it's him. And when we talked to him, confront him with the DNA, he 100% told us what.
Keith has got to be tense too. I saw him like crack his, try to like, I don't know. He's got to be like fuming. And he said he was, they told him he can't say anything. Like he has to like sit back. So he has to kind of just stay quiet,
Happened.
And give us details that nobody else would know.
And we can call him and we can all talk about it. But ultimately, can you look at me for a second?
Yeah,
ultimately, we put him on a polygraph like we did Keith. Keith was inconclusive, to be honest with you, on whether he was involved or not. But 100% James was telling the truth. The questions were, did Sherri ask you to come pick her up? He answered yes. That was the truth on a polygraph. We asked him if the two of you ever had sex. The answer was no.
During 2016?
During 2016, during the abduction. He said no. That was the truth. We asked him if he ever had sex. To be honest with you, for a second. Ultimately, we put him on a polygraph like we did Keith. Keith was inconclusive, to be honest with you, on whether he was involved or not. But 100% James was telling the truth. The questions were, did Sherri ask you to come pick her up? He answered yes. That was the truth on a polygraph. We asked him if the two of you ever had sex. The answer was no.
During 2016?
During 2016, during the abduction. He said no. That was the truth.
Damn, so he weren't even having sex with her? So maybe he legitimately, I don't know, he thought he was helping her out or something. I don't know, that's weird.
We asked him if you asked him to brand you, the answer was yes. And he passed the polygraph. on all of those questions. He took us to the stores where he bought the chain. We talked to the friend who rented the car. The car that he rented drove over 900 miles in a day on the drop-off point.
900 miles.
Sure, I know it was a lot to take in.
Bro, what guys do, man.
But it's not like we don't know the answers to these questions.
And the fear of Keith's reaction, obviously now he's in the room, the fear of media, the fear of all of these things are coming forward, they're in front of you now. The only way to get a hold of it, the only way for everybody to come together and heal, the whole community has to heal, is for us to be able to say, when we presented all of the evidence, all of the stuff that came forward, you told us the truth. You told us what happened. Because you did go in a dark room, that's true. You did lay in the backseat of a car.
So I do kind of wonder what the husband was asked, because they said it was inconclusive. You know, they say you can't use that well, I don't know if you can't use it I've heard in some trials or there's been a few situations that you can use a polygraph, but most of the time you can't. But I did read one time that there is some situations. I don't know how that works. But yeah, he was inconclusive. I wonder what questions they asked him.
That's true. You did lose weight. You were branded. Your hair was cut. You did have bruises all over. But how those bruises got there are because you did it and James did some. The reason why your nose got broke is because you held the hockey stick to your face and he forced it into your nose. The reason why the brand is in a straight line is because he did it. He described exactly where it was. He told us exactly how he did it, where he did it, how he did it.
And who does that? Like your ex of yours is hitting you up and she's claiming she's being abused or whatever. And she's like, brand me. I want you to brand me. And then you in your head, you're like, yes, I'll brand you. That's like some serious pain, like traumatic. Like, isn't that kind of like for life or something? The marks that's done after branding?
Only you and I and maybe 5 other people know where the brand was.
Oh, thank you. Eleanor says polygraphs are accepted in all federal courts and some state courts. So it's not admissible, though, right, or something? What's the saying that they say?
He told me immediately. Robert told friends and family you were there. His mom knew that you were there because, of course, it went news and everybody knew you guys dated. Everybody knew you guys had a relationship. So when it happened, of course, family reached out to him. He told them, yeah, she was here. But it said it hurt her. I didn't hurt her. So,
what are you thinking, Sherri?
Yeah, it must be the state thing that I heard, that it is able to be used in there. In the state, inadmissible.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
What actions doesn't make sense?
A lot of it doesn't make sense.
Can we talk about those?
No.
Well, we hear it says for California, under California law, a polygraph test is not admissible in court unless all parties agree to admit it into evidence. Police and employees cannot force a suspect, witness, or employee to take a polygraph.
James' DNA was confirmed on your clothing. The two of you haven't seen each other in over a decade. You told me that you haven't been in his room, you haven't had contact with him in over 10 years. However,
you described his bedroom to a T.
And the DNA on you was still a vibrant piece of DNA. 10-year-old DNA dies. The DNA that was there specifically was non-seminal fluid, was seminal fractions. You got that from his house somewhere. So whether it was the bed that you were sleeping on, whether it was the couch, whether it was anywhere in there. When somebody would come to the door and be around the property, you'd call James, James would call Robert, which lives 2 doors down. Robert would run people off the property.
SJ.
Robert told me all of that. James told me everything. So the only person that hasn't started telling us certain facts, there are certain facts that are true. When we were sitting there talking to James, there were so many truths that were a part of your story that it's hard to decipher the lies until we put it all together. Until he says, hey, how did you pick her up? I opened up the passenger side seat, I opened the door, you jumped in the back seat. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? I don't know. It was weird. So are you calling James a liar? Are we not believing James what he told me?
No.
I know you're scared.
Cannot believe that it is James.
I can't believe James told us the truth. That's what I can't believe. He passed a polygraph, Sherri.
She's still going with it.
So did Keith.
No, he didn't. He was inconclusive. And he was involved.
So James is involved. But I don't.
James picked you up. You called James to pick you up. You mailed him a letter with your address. You used a burner phone to call another burner phone for James to come and get you.
You're saying since you're married you haven't called James?
No, I have called James.
Because earlier you said you had contacted James. Because phone records show that you do. You did. The phones don't lie, the DNA doesn't lie, Sherri.
His polygraph doesn't lie.
So you can go a couple different directions now.
His story.
I've already told you lying to me is a crime. So you walk out the store telling lies, and that's a crime.
I think we need my lawyer. This isn't making any sense.
Well, it's not making sense, Sherri. The parts that don't make
it's James.
sense.
And she's looking at Keith. What is he gonna do for you?
No, the parts that don't make sense.
I don't know if I could contain myself though the entire time. I mean, I'd want to keep hearing what else though. If I was the husband, but at some point, I don't know. I'd probably snap.
Are that you're accusing two females who abducted you when it was James. The part that you were branded, James did it. He told me he did it. Who would sit there and say, I branded Sherri on her right shoulder blade? Who does that?
And told us how and showed us.
And he moved further away.
The letters that matched the brand.
Took us to the store and pointed out the letters.
Damn. Drunken Lord.
The problem is today's the case is resolved. Everything, the only things, well, how do we prove that you're telling us the truth? How do we prove that the truth is that two women took you, but I'm telling you it's a male? The fact that you were branded is true. The small fact is that you willingly laid down and did it versus being tied to a table. So we could do the polygraph and try to, whatever parts you're confused about.
Can you go with that?
Can I talk to you outside real quick? Or wait?
That's fine. The fears of how out of control everything got, the fear of all these things is the reality.
I wonder what that conversation is going to be like. Yeah, he ain't had nothing to say to this chick.
And the only people that can slow the train down is you and I. You put yourself through this so when you came forward you can tell certain stories. You missed you couldn't control the DNA that we found. You couldn't control when you talked to James, he'd tell us what happened. The story always was hard for anybody to understand. The tragedy that the community went through, the events that unfolded, the fear now of what it all means. But there's without a doubt, James's DNA was on you. The likelihood of it being an ex-boyfriend is a problem.
No.
It's astronomical. Then you add in, when we go talk to people who never even heard of us, when we say, hey, what's going on here, they knew that you were at the house. All of them never came forward.
No.
So I guess they can't get in trouble for that family? Or maybe they were being lied to as well?
No what?
Yeah, shit.
Call James.
Everybody fooled. Everybody. Wow.
This was a long road. I had no idea what it was going to take me. But right now,
make a pints, right, Homer?
Continuing and saying that two girls took you is a lie to Peter.
For Keith.
It's just a lie. Because we were able to prove it with evidence. With a rental car agreement, person driving to 1,000 miles in a day, the DNA on you, and him passing a polygraph. It's three legs to the table it can stand on.
Keith's gonna wait out there.
He's gonna wait out there.
Now's the opportunity. Based on your reaction previously, what you're telling me is you did not call James and ask him to come get you? Is that what you're saying? Because if that's what you're saying, I have to understand that. There are things he says that we can corroborate, and whatever you say, we're going to try and corroborate. But right now, I'm not sure what you're saying. You're just saying you can't believe it's him. And you're saying you don't understand. But there are details he provided. We know you were in his house. We collected hairs from that bedroom. That's going to have DNA on it. We already have your hairs that you left with your cell phone when you were picked up.
You have my DNA, obviously.
This chick literally left her cell phone, took some strands of hair, put it there for this guy Keith to find it. And didn't even pick up the kids from the daycare the day she pulled his hoax. And just left the kids at the school and shit. The guy had to call, like, find out she was missing. The kids weren't picked up.
So that's not going to lie either. The descriptions you provided are that room and that house to a T, except it's not a gravel driveway. And it's not elevated. And there's not two women who live there.
But James lives there.
James lives there.
You know James lives there.
So you might as well get it out of your head that James is not involved, because James is clearly involved. And James already told us he's the one that did the brain.
That's something that he admitted to mayhem. He admitted to a felony you can put him in prison over.
Well, how do you, it doesn't jive. So now it's your opportunity to say, were there issues between you and Keith? Is that why you needed to leave? I mean, we read your text message. We're already aware of some issues, but enlighten us if that's the case. If there was a valid reason for you to leave, let me know what that was.
James said you had your jaw broken by him, and that's why he came and got you, because you were in an abusive relationship.
I love my husband.
So, were you in an abusive relationship with him? Have you told other people in your life that, like China, that Keith has abused you in the past when that wasn't true? China told me that day 2, where there was an incident at a party that you got hurt playing, like, I don't know, Wii or Pictionary or something, and then you told other friends that Keith hurt you. When there was witnesses at the party that said that you got hurt during a party. Then you go tell James that you were being hurt, you were being abused, and you couldn't come forward because Keith has friends in law enforcement. If all of is that true? Has Keith ever been abusive towards you?
We are not talking about my husband. I love my husband.
So why leave? Is James lying to us?
I want to leave my husband. I want to be with my children. I would never leave my children.
But you did. And so that's the story she told that the ex supposed that the husband was abusing her.
But you didn't leave them permanently. You came back to them. Ultimately.
No.
You left them every day at daycare. So it's not like, hey.
You left them kids.
James talked about that decision when you were driving down, how hard that was. You left at 10 o'clock knowing that Keith was going to get home late, knowing you were going to leave the kids at daycare, and how much that tore you up on the drive down. You told us that. Then things got out of control.
James and I talked about that. We did talk about that before.
Bruh.
When I went out of town from work.
What happened?
Always talking to other guys. Oh my god, why did I do that?
Like when you were in Eureka, you give them a call? Just start chatting with them? Told them some of your problems? When did it turn from just chatting to this plan to get away?
No.
You were getting a hold of Donovan Mitski the night before.
Why did I do that?
We're trying to understand why you did that too.
We're trying to understand all of it.
I don't know how this is happening because I was doing that. This is an awful choice. Talking to other guys that has got me here.
So what aspect are you saying? Like how does talking to other people got you here? We've gotten over.
I love my husband and I made mistakes and I talked to other men that I shouldn't have.
But we took it a step farther this time.
This is a little different than just chatting with them. I appreciate you talking and being forthright about the other guys you were talking to. When did it turn into something more? Obviously, you never would have imagined that CNN and 2020 and Good Morning America would care about you wanting to leave Keith or wanting to teach him a lesson or wanting to get him in line.
No, I was just talking to James. I don't want to leave my husband. I love my husband.
How are you talking? How are you talking to James?
I don't want to leave my husband.
Sure. How were you talking to James? On your cell phone or another cell phone?
My work cell phone. I don't want to leave my husband. I don't want to leave my husband.
This is more like just a flirt?
What's your work cell phone number?
Remember?
What's that?
I don't remember.
How long were you guys talking?
Amber, right? So true.
I don't know.
Why would he rent a car and come and get you?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know that, why would you get in the car and go down to Costa Mesa?
Those are all things we can verify, Sherri. The car rental, the fuel, the mileage, the calls from you to him, the burner phone, all of that can be proven.
Horrible.
I don't think you're a horrible person, Sherri. I think things went a little sideways on you.
We started this conversation, I knew what this was going to turn into. I didn't know that I'd have people stand on boxes in front of my office.
Sure.
Keith would be on 2020.
I want my husband. I want my children. I'm stupid. For talking to other guys.
But why did James come and get you? I know you guys were talking. I know you've said in the past that Keith has hurt you to other friends. Why tell him those details if that stuff's not true? It's one thing to talk.
And so she's telling the friends too, not just the ex. She's telling the friends that this guy Keith is abusive to her. That's crazy. Throwing this guy under the bus like that. When we get to the end of this, we still got a little bit to go. But I'm going to show some clips because he did divorce her. Keith, and also one of the exes or somebody that dated her spoke out too and said she's a compulsive liar. So there's a couple of more updated clips, brief clips we could look at.
It's one thing to talk, it's another thing to say abuse is occurring. Everybody I talked to about James said he's the nicest person in the whole world. Yeah, he may be a hockey player, but he is the nicest person in the world. He's nice to a fault. I know lots of people. I don't know anybody I'd rent a car for and drive 9 hours for. Keith, James did that for you.
He was helping you.
He never asked you why. He never questioned anything.
He never put reward money on the line.
He never asked for anything. He didn't ask for sexual relations. He didn't ask for a relationship after you.
He didn't ask for anything. He's never even talked to you since.
And yet he stayed quiet until now.
And the only reason why he talked is because we have his DNA. That's the only reason why we got to his door. That's the only thing that led us to his closet. That's the only thing that led us to the bathroom. That's goofy. And that's the only reason why he started talking to us. Once he showed us the bedroom and we started pointing out the holes in the wall, like, you used to have this boarded up, huh? And he said, yeah.
Sherri asked me to put boards up.
There's nobody's ever going to be able to answer why decisions were made.
Except for James. I don't understand.
You don't understand what? What parts are you not understanding?
He even showed us, Sherri, he even showed us the letters that were used for the brand and the numbers. I got pictures of them right here. This is the set that was used.
What did the Bible verse mean to you?
How would you have known that?
Why did you pick that Bible verse?
That's the brand.
Did James pick the Bible verse?
I'll show it again after. Yeah, imagine in a relationship with that.
You control the outcome and what's going to happen.
You need therapy after dating somebody like that, or being married to, or even that being your mother, or a relative of yours, a co-worker. You need therapy after dealing with somebody like that.
Next. The only thing we know is going to happen right now is what you can tell us and what you can shed light on, and for other people to be able to try to understand. If it was a mistake,
Bible,
it was a mistake. But at this point, not telling us what happened, not telling us the truth is another mistake. It's a mistake on top of a mistake. Right now, we can start over. We can leave without a dirty conscience, without the what's going to happen next. Right now,
deep down inside, Sherri, I know you know what's right and what you should do, and you should come clean.
Why did you ask James to come get you? You asked Donovan the night before to come meet up with you. Everything happened at once. You were asking two.
Stupid thing to do.
The thing about it is we were able to prove that Donovan never came up here. But now we can prove that James did. We have records to prove it. Although you might not think it was a good idea now, 2020 hindsight, at the time, why did you ask him to come pick you up? Was that an I don't know? What's that?
Can't be James.
It is James. We can
Sherri, the DNA doesn't lie. His DNA was on you.
Is that really? Lotus Flower says, Exodus 21:16. If anyone has kidnapped someone, they should be put to death. Is that what she branded on her back? What was she branding on there? I see it says Exodus. Oh, what she was trying to do with that? Oh, Lord.
Your DNA is going to be in that room.
1 in septillion that was James. I don't even know how many zeros septillion is, to be honest with you.
That's why, despite your description of how far you might have gone in the car, we already went down there. We knocked on his door. We took those pictures.
Thanks, Britt.
He understood that the DNA didn't lie, so he came clean. Now it's your chance to do the same. And if you don't, you're gonna be shaking your head later and say, I should have told them what happened.
Talk to me like that.
Like what?
There's so many fears right now that we can't even wrap our head around it. There's too many unknowns that we can't control. We can't control what the media is going to do. We can't control what everybody's going to think. The only thing we can control right now is to control that that James told us the truth, and that's a yes or a no.
Ooh.
What did James lie about? What did James lie to us about? Of the things I've told you.
I don't know. I just don't know. There's just no way it can be James. I just don't know. I don't know.
It is James. That's not even the question anymore.
We know you were in that room. That's already clear.
You described everything in the room.
What you're saying is it wasn't James that came and picked you up by the mailboxes? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's true, Judy. Judy says she harmed her family, the local community, all the money she took from other victims because she was being compensated. They gave her some sort of compensation for victims. I forgot how much they said, $30,000 or how much she over a couple of years. We'll look at it again. But she was getting victim compensation and she took it.
2 females? Is that what you're saying, Sherri?
That's crazy.
At the end of everything, once you had to have known that this was going to come.
300K?
I was talking to my mom.
What's that?
This is all my fault. I was talking to so many guys.
Well, we know
Such a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, but then how did we get to Costa Rica? Or sorry, Costa Mesa? Wherever I was. How did we get to LA? There's a big jump and a leap from talking to men.
No, she's right. Hold on, I just saw it.
Getting in a
Justice.gov. .gov. Papini was ordered to pay $309,000 in restitution for losses incurred by the California Victim Compensation Board, the Social Security Administration, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So altogether, I guess.
Car with somebody, but that getting into a car with somebody is somebody you had a relationship with. He told us about
Sherri Papini.
He told us about your guys' relationship. He told us about things that I don't know if you've ever told anybody about.
Okay, thank you.
He told us so.
So the victim compensation part was like $30K, but then everything together, all the expenses, everything was like 300 something K.
So many things.
Thanks.
And he did it all for you. Nobody else. He got nothing out of this.
And you're welcome to go home, Sherri. But right now is your opportunity to tell us the truth. And
Can't be.
are you saying that it was 2 females that picked you up? What's that?
Disability too.
Every time I ask that question, it seems like you don't answer it.
This can't be happening.
We sat in a room, you drew out 2 people in a sketch, Sherri. Are those 2 people the ones that took you? It's a yes or no?
I don't know.
Well, you were pretty clear when I asked you earlier, what did the younger one do? You said the younger one pointed a gun at you.
She was there.
She wasn't. It was just James.
Not me.
James was 2 hours late.
We have the rental records from 2016 for the vehicle that he used.
Why?
Because we went and looked for it because he told me.
Because I was talking to him.
That's clear. You were talking to him. I don't.
This is my fault because I was talking to him. This can't.
We have to control what we can control.
No.
We're to the point. The younger female that you've always described, is she the one that pointed a gun at you? Is that true or not?
Oh no.
You do know. You told me earlier. So earlier today, when we were talking, I asked you, what did the younger one do? You told me the younger one pointed a gun at you and let you go. That's what you said.
She let me go.
Yeah, you let yourself go. You let yourself out of the backseat. Never even said bye to James. Never a thank you, never a nothing. Just an out.
No.
Yeah, that's what James told me. Until you can start telling me that James is a liar and start pointing things out, James passed a polygraph.
This is my fault. It's my fault that I was talking to him. It's my fault that I was flirting with other men. It was such a stupid thing to do.
My fault that what? Taking and flirting with other men?
It's my fault that I was talking to him. It's my fault that I was flirting with other men.
Wow.
It was such a stupid thing to do. I love my husband.
Flirting
I
with
love
other-
my children.
That's understandable.
It's just stupid for
Here's the deal though,
talking to other
Sherri.
men.
Flirting with other men, not a crime. Lying to me today, yes, a crime. Big difference.
Telling your story of what happened to you isn't a crime.
And I know you're scared of what Keith is going to say and do, what's going to happen with you and your family. Those are real concerns. But we also need to understand the truth. And you're in the best position to give us that. You keep saying that it can't be him. The DNA doesn't lie. It's him.
You were talking to
And
him.
now's the opportunity for you to tell us.
I was talking to him. I was talking to him.
And we've
We
talked
started
about...
talking again when his brother died.
Okay.
You started talking again what?
Your brother died.
Oh, sure.
And that makes sense. The problem we have is the actions after the talking, after the flirting. There was a big difference between talking on the phone and getting in a car with somebody. So are you saying that James got two females to kidnap you? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? So if James's DNA is on you, are you? So either we're still saying the younger girl pointed a gun at you, or we're saying we don't know. You've already told me that today, that a younger girl pointed a gun at you.
You said you didn't want her to get caught. So are we still talking that the female let you go?
That's where we're at. And I don't know doesn't add clarity on simple questions, Sherri. A very easy question. Did James pick you up? You told me earlier that a girl pointed a gun at you. Is that detail, which one's true? It's only one. Only one of those are true, Sherri. You've told both of them. I've told one, you've told the other. Which one's true? Does James need to go to jail for all the stuff that you asked him to do?
I did not ask for this.
No, nobody asked for this.
You literally did.
Sherri, I believe you. Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for ABC News to park out in your driveway.
There was no way you could have predicted that this was going to blow up and to be as big as it was. Not even God thought it was going to turn into this big. Even when he first got the call, he didn't think that CNN and ABC and everybody was going to care.
I'm going to find Sherri in a couple days because I found Donovan. I found the people some of the people you were talking to. I've never known about your work cell phone.
Stupid.
But we're beyond that small discretion. We've talked about that discretion. We've talked about Donovan, right? Remember? We talked about Donovan. Who picked you up? Was it James or was it a female that pointed a gun at you? Can you please answer that? You're shaking your head no.
I will not get. I'm not talking to you about that. I'm not going to get anybody in trouble. I've told you before, I do not want anyone to get in trouble.
Well, you're going to get yourself in trouble at this point. That's where we're at. So either James.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I know you didn't do anything wrong. Right now, you're not telling the truth, which is doing something wrong. That's where we're at. James put himself on a polygraph. Talked to FBI agents. He talked with Peter and I for 6 hours.
Nice, Meg.
You told us everything, Sherri. You told us so many truths because you put yourself through.
True.
They were true. You're absolutely right.
You don't want to talk about the women.
So, but the one.
You're saying that it's James.
No,
We're saying James's DNA was on you. We know you were in that room at his house.
Then who was the woman? Then who was the woman?
Well,
okay.
That's
why we're asking you. It
Did the
wasn't
woman point a gun at you and put you in the car? Yes or no? Is that where we're at?
Don't remember.
You don't remember if a female pointed a gun at you and put you in the car? Is that what you're saying, Sherri?
I've always told you I don't remember getting in the car. I've always told you I don't remember getting in the car.
Correct. But did a female point a gun at you? Yes or no?
Remember.
Yes or no? It's not a remember thing. You've already told me that today.
You know who she is. I know you do.
No, it was always
You
Keith.
know who she is.
Yeah,
you know
the lady
you
we
do.
showed you is another raised. No, I know James opened the door for you. Whether you want to forget how you got in the car, I'm okay with that. But you've already established today. That's why I asked you today. What did the younger girl do? You said she let me go and she pointed a gun at me. We didn't talk about how you got in the car. Right now I'm asking you. Did a younger female point a gun at you? Yes or no? What?
I know you know who she is. I'm not
we're on the
saying
wrong-
it. I don't want her to get in trouble.
She's not
I
getting in
know you know who she is.
You're getting in trouble.
I am not. I didn't do anything.
Right. But right now, answer this one question. Did a female point a gun at you, yes or no?
I am done speaking to you until I talk to a lawyer. I will not arrest her. I am with my children because of her.
I'm disappointed, Sherri.
I don't understand. There is no way that Jesse loves me.
You did love me. I agree.
Sherri, if you want to talk to your attorney, that's fine. We can wrap this up. If you want to keep talking to us, that's a separate story, but you said you wanted to talk to your attorney, so like I said from the beginning, you're free to go and you can go. I would ask you one more question, just for your own welfare. Do you feel like harming yourself?
Welfare.
Do you feel like harming yourself?
No, I just want to hug my children and go home.
Okay. Well, you're free to go and do that.
Renee,
if you change your mind and want to come forward and talk to us,
This is all my fault because I talked to other men. This cannot be.
you might have come and served a copy.
Renee, thank you so much for the super chat. Super chat says, "Have a drink on me." Ooh, you'll need one after this. I'm doing.
I don't know, we're gonna find out.
Where is my husband? I'm doing sober October. I'm trying. Today's day 2. I started one day before, but sober October, man. See if we can get it, make it through October.
You know what Keith is?
Not looking good. Lotus said they bring Keith back in. So let's see what happens. Thank you, Britt Bat, for the 10-month membership. Amazing. Says, sheesh, this was a roller coaster. LOL. A 31-month day in, all right? A 31-day month. Oh, I'd be pissed, man. Oof. Oh, look at him, look at him. Oh, she comes back in too? She don't come back. What about today?
Alright. I'm the idiot husband that stayed around the whole time.
Well, there's not. It's still. We can't tell you a lot, honestly. I don't know what I told Phil to let you know. Some of the details, some of the stuff coming out.
Can we, I mean, from my side, I feel like, my whole world's gonna flip upside down again. Why is that? Why am I always getting held out of things? Like, why can't you just hit me with it?
I did, I told you.
I know, yeah.
Because this happened Monday.
No, you're saying you can't tell me all this stuff.
It's still an ongoing investigation, so you're not going to find out answers. I mean, there's just, that's the way it is.
Can you help me throw me a bone and then go, she made it up? Is that where we're going, right? Or is she trying to come up with a whole nother thing?
We're not going to give you any additional details. Obviously, you heard the questions, so you can read through some of those and understand. You've seen some of the photos, so you know some of the investigative work
we've done. You saw me, I was like, yeah, we found him.
And we did.
Yeah.
But you can also notice your reaction compared to her reaction.
Yeah. No, 100%. That's what I'm saying from my side. But now you're telling me, okay, you guys can go home now. Well, do you think I want her anywhere around my kids or around me at all at this point?
And again, we've talked a lot. I don't know what the next stages of this are. That's why
it's not us together. I tell you that one.
Whatever those decisions are, I don't know.
But we can all agree that she's not over there. Then obviously, if somebody can do something like that to her body and try to trick everybody that they're probably not fit to.
It was 4 years ago.
We can't get into that, but I would say obviously we are concerned about the welfare. We don't want any kind of domestic dispute between you two. We also don't want.
So give me a quick not legal advice, give me from a sheriff. If I don't want her in my house tonight, what options do I have?
You'd have to get restraining orders. You'd have to get legal stuff.
And so they just dropped the bomb and it's like, all right, see ya. You guys enjoy your night. Go back home. Good luck.
I'm gonna tell her she has to go to her sister's.
How do you walk back into that house, man, and look at that woman? A liar. And she'll go back there and still keep lying. That's the thing too with these kind of people, these liars and gaslighters and shit. It don't matter what you pull up. Imagine you're with somebody like that you don't even know. And you catch or you find things and it's just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. No, it's not true. No, it's not it. No, it's not what it is. No. I have video. I have GPS. I have tracking. No, that's not true. And then you just start breaking down.
She's not going to my house tonight, and I got a call. The next stage of this, please give me the courtesy of telling me when you're going to announce this so I cannot be at my home.
Probably tonight.
Oh, God damn, you're going quick. Well, I thought you said it's ongoing now.
Well,
we got to
talk about that, but
it's going to happen quick.
I understand. He was thinking tomorrow. I was like, okay,
we blew up everybody in LA. So there's a hornet's nest in LA. It only takes one person to go and say, hey, I know what actually happened. I want 10 grand. And now they run to LA News. It blows up without our control. So, and I don't know the strategy. We still have to, we had to get through this before we get there. But this.
Is there anything you can tell me next? I thought you said you were going to tell me something when I came back in.
The person that we talked to down there is absolutely involved.
No, I know that. I know that. So I remember giving you guys that guy's number, so I thought.
So that's where we're at.
And then what does she say?
We're just going to ask you to be patient. Let it play out. I know it's going to be really hard, but it also makes it easier for you. Well, the little kids aren't going to ask you as much as the media will.
No,
and the family members, your own family members.
No,
and you can look at them with a straight face and say, look, they're not telling me yet.
But like, even Kettle right now, I was like, well, shoot, you guys can give her a ride in the house. I don't even want her in my car right now.
I don't know what Kettle said.
That's what he told me.
I'm assuming we could arrange for her to get.
I don't think I could go back home. I mean, but the thing is the kids, though. That's the problem.
There, that's what has to happen.
Because I need to make some phone. If you're going to release it that soon, I'd like to call her.
I don't know what's going to happen. I can call you today. I'm going to go from this to another meeting, and that meeting's going to lead to another meeting, and that meeting's going to lead to another meeting, and then we'll be figuring stuff out.
Are you saying you want us to help you with transport for her?
I think so. I don't think. I mean, you got to give me a couple. I thought you guys were going to call me back in here with her. So.
Well, she has to leave, so she's free to leave if she wants.
So I think we'll talk, and we'll probably. She's probably not going to talk in here, so we'll probably go out to the car, and then I'll be like, I'm not going anywhere with you until.
If you guys want to talk out in the car and then come back up and tell us if you need assistance, let us know.
You have my number.
I appreciate that. I think I'm handling pretty good. I ain't punching walls or nothing.
We appreciate that.
That sucks, man. And I know that their focus is just her, and he's just kind of left in the wind, you know, for the case, I guess.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And that is concerning, man, because like if you're dealing with somebody like that, you probably start to flash back to all the little weird things throughout the years. Maybe your kid had a bruise or some shit, and mama's like, "Oh, it just happened because of blah blah blah." Then you start looking back like, "Damn, is this crazy ass do some shit to my kids, or manipulating the kids and shit, and doing all kinds of weird stuff?" Damn, man. Yo, for real, right? So they came in the same car. That's what happens to nice guys, unfortunately. That's what I think too. Think I'm a nice guy, but like, I don't know, man. You see shit like this? Damn, bro. I wonder what the arguments were like between these people. That guy could never win an argument, or nothing, probably. Damn, bro, it's crazy. All right, let me show. It says not only did Papini lie to law enforcement, her friends, her family, she also made false statements to California Victim Compensation Board and Social Security Administration in order to receive benefits as a result of her alleged post-traumatic stress from being abducted. So she, like they were saying in the chat, Lotus and some other people, she was getting a compensation from the Victim Compensation Board. She was getting disability. I mean, really racking it in. It's not somebody that feels sorry, sympathetic, whatever. She did a crime and then she was being rewarded for it until she got caught. I want to show something else too. Let me see. Here. Well, these are some of the. Let me just take you through some of this, and then I want to play a video. Still have some video clips I want to show. Lyrical Justice, thank you for the 13-month membership. Amazing. Hey, yo, this is sad. Has she been admitted? Not to my knowledge. Also, there is I think you did file for custody. Oh. The custody thing is somewhere. Let me show you this first. See if I can get through some of the. Sherri Papini seen on video running outside a church in Yolo County. So before they found her in the spot that she was found at, because I think she went to this church first. It says right here. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office releases video of Sherri Papini shortly after she was released from her alleged abductors in Yolo County. On November 24, 2016, video was captured by a church nearby, the northbound on the ramp of Interstate 5. Papini had been seen running to the church on North Highway 99 West and then south on Highway 99 West until she goes out of view, heading toward I-95 northbound on the ramp. The sheriff's office said the video surveillance date and time were validated by detectives as occurring at 4:15. So before they found out where she was at, I guess she was running around. Supposedly nobody was at this church where she was trying to see where she's at. Oh, there she is. There's no audio. 4:07 in the morning, running around. Yeah, I think he got custody. I want to tell you exactly what happened. I'm going to find the article. I had it somewhere. I don't know if he got custody of both kids. He should, because now she's. Show the ex-boyfriend. Okay, we're going to take a look at that. I think Does she come back into frame? There she is. The corner right there. What the hell is crazy woman doing? Running, yo. Let me see what else. But like all the stuff that was going on, I'm not gonna go through all this right now, but just like a quick so when this whole thing so this guy, on the day that this situation happens, she sends a text to her husband, Keith, to ask whether he'll be home for lunch. He replies later that afternoon he won't. Around 5 p.m., Keith returns from the Mountain Gate home he shares with his wife, Sherri. He cannot find her or their 2 children. He learns the children had not been picked up from daycare and uses the Find My iPhone app to track her phone. Less than a mile away from their home on the intersection of Old Oregon Trail and Sunrise Drive, her earbuds are wrapped loosely around the phone and there's strands of hair. So some of the chick took the time to like yank some hair out or cut some hair out and just wrap it around the phone and leave it there for him to find. Sick woman. They did a lot. So like November 3rd, 2016, search and rescue teams with the search offices combed through the Sunrise Drive and Old Oregon Trail. The California Highway Patrol assists with an aerial search. Patrol deputies and detectives begin to make checks on 290 registered sex offenders who live in the area. The sister and Sheila Coaster says the family thinks she was abducted. The family refocuses search efforts to get attention of national news efforts. On November 9th, Sheriff Lieutenant Anthony Burton announces Keith Papini not being a person of interest, and that after he passes a lie detector test and no physical evidence links him to the disappearance. They got a private investigator, went to a council meeting. There's a bunch of things that happened in between. 400 tips, 20 search warrants. And this is the day she was found, on the 24th. Let me do this too. Let me play. I think this is the guy right here. Man who once dated Sherri.
He dated Sherri Papini and says he knows firsthand that she's a world-class fantasist.
She's a compulsive liar. She would, not talk to you for 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden there'd be some fantastical...
I don't know if this is James, though, or is this still somebody that dated her? No, this is somebody else. Shaheen. We got to find James.
Story about what happened.
Shaheen Davari says he dated the mom when she was a 20-year-old youth counselor. Get this, he says he was just 15.
In retrospect, sure, tons of red flags, right? That she was a counselor that was going out with a 15-year-old kid.
Now 35, the professor of communications says Sherri's lies were...
This is what this guy looks like? Why did they put this picture of this guy? Hold on, man. Oh, Lord almighty. Sorry, I'm all over the place. James Reyes, 37, is the ex-boyfriend who hit California's supermom. Dang, Lord. This is the guy that branded her because she wanted to be branded, and she asks him to beat her over the face with a hockey stick, and he does it. Lord. Oh, man. And she leaves this nice guy for that. But here he looks more normal. Damn, well. Oh, man. It's incredible. And those are the... what a life, man. I had to pause the video. Wow. Amazing. That's the guy that was branding her and doing all that kind of stuff. I guess I don't know what the point of that was. Maybe he thought he was going to get back with her. Jeez.
Never ending. For example, she kept insisting she was a skilled surfer.
I surfed all the time when I was 15, 16 years old. It's something that I really enjoyed doing, and she told me that she surfed as well. There was always an excuse as to why she couldn't go surf, and she had to have her surfboard that was at her house but didn't have any pictures.
He says there was also a mystery medical condition.
She was faking a heart condition at one point, and eventually, like, not only me, but a bunch of people figured out that that was not true.
What did you think when you heard that Sherri Papini was kidnapped?
I was like, there's no way. She's fine. I promise you she's fine. There's just no chance that she got kidnapped.
Papini was arrested Thursday, accused of faking the abduction that riveted the USA in 2016. 3 weeks later, she was found wandering, bruised and branded. Sherri claimed she'd been kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women who put her in a closet with a bucket with kitty litter for her to use as a toilet. She claimed they held her with a chain hooked around her waist. But cops say Papini was actually hiding out at an ex-boyfriend's residence here in Costa Mesa, California. To support her story of a kidnapping, authorities say Papini asked the ex-boyfriend to punch her in the face, which he refused to do. She then purposefully hit her head on the bathtub and the bathroom floor. Authorities say the boyfriend told them Papini also asked him to brand her. Today, the man who dated Papini when he was 15 says he is being wrongly identified as the guy who...
True crime shit. The true crime community, true crime shit. So what they go? They hunted this guy down too, probably attacked him, doxed him, all kinds of shit.
allegedly hid Sherri Papini. He wants to set the record straight.
I want to stop people thinking that I am the person that hit her or helped her or had...
Bro, it's like, it's so basic information. You can tell how some of these people on the internet that do these things, everybody makes mistakes, right? But it's such a simple search. It's like in every article and all the videos. But you can tell some of these irresponsible, like disgusting people online that make videos, they're just completely, I don't know, irresponsible and callous. But I'm not surprised, man, because we heard so many different stories like this. But damn, man, and that's a heavy thing to put on somebody. That's a heavy thing to put on somebody. The whole branding, beating, or whatever. Which even James, I mean, that's a weird thing to do. But James passed the lie detector stuff. And I guess he was just doing it out of, I don't know. It's weird, though, to do that. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I don't care who asked me that. Because I'd be thinking like it's a setup. I wouldn't do that anyway, but if some female was asking me to do that, I'd be thinking it's like a setup. Hit you? Punch you? And then if I see you like chuck yourself into a toilet or like a bathtub, I'm calling 911. I don't know if the guy saw it. I'm calling out. Yo, there was this chick one time. I'll tell you this story real quick. Hopefully she's not watching. This chick one time, when I was living at my mother's, my mother wasn't home though, or one of my crazy exes, she had claimed that she was going to take a bottle of pills because I don't want to be with her anymore. So she said she was going to like kill herself or something like that. So, and she wanted me to let her in and I wasn't going to let her in. So she sends me a picture of like a bottle of something. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. So she speeds off or something like that. I go outside and I see the empty bottle on the floor. So I called 911 because I'm not playing with that shit. I'm not going to have somebody be like, oh, you knew she did this and you didn't call 911 and the mob of crazy people hunt me down. I called 911. They found her ass and they took her ass to the hospital. They pumped her stomach with the charcoal crap, whatever, or the coal, whatever they do. And they threw her ass in in Baker Act. But we're actually cool now. But yeah, that was many years ago. So back to this. Yeah, if somebody's just like chucks themselves into a toilet thing or whatever, and they're trying to, I'm calling police or you're gonna get some help. You're not gonna do that shit in my house. Nah.
Had any contact with her.
Sherri Papini is charged with making false statements to a federal law enforcement officer and engaging in mail fraud.
I don't do that shit. And I don't think she, from what I was told with that whole situation, that chick, she actually didn't take anything. The doctors didn't believe that she took it. They did it out of precaution, I think. They pumped her, but like I guess they did a blood test. And I think it was all bullshit. That's the thing too. There's some people out there that you're in a really bad relationship, there's people out there that pretend, oh, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. Ah! Some people might actually do it, but there's people out there that do that kind of manipulation bullshit to keep you around. Make sure I didn't get a text from this. Okay, good. Oh yeah, let me show this other clip too. So, the whole thing with this guy divorcing, and I would love to see if there's any other exes of this chick that made a video or something about their experience where husband files for divorce.
Sherri Papini's.
And I want to look. Well, let's look at this real quick first. I do want to find the custody thing real quick. So somewhere, unless somebody can send it to me, they know. Mother of two faked her kidnapping, including a number of self-inflicted injuries, and she presented to police and medical examiner. Ooh, okay, we might have to. Damn, we're gonna have to dip. Is there gonna be a chase? Hold on a second. Let me see what's going on. Somebody tagged me, what's your purpose? Said, what the hell are you talking about? With that story. It's a true story. 1022, I think the pursuit's all right. What does 1022 mean? The pursuit vehicle last seen. 1022 means something. I don't know what that means. Look at this too. I don't know, these black and blues here. The plot was ultimately foiled when law enforcement discovered that she had been sheltering with her ex-boyfriend and helped her inflict some of the wounds. I can imagine too, man. Like, yeah, this chick is crazy and it's sick, but I don't know what kind of weird shit that is too. That brand me, beat me, all this kind of stuff, and you're not even with her. Not that I'm saying that validates you should be with the person, but you weren't even messing around. You guys weren't even having sex. What are you doing this stuff for? Like, what's the purpose of this shit? Some people just need like hobbies too, or like some sort of like some passion, something they're passionate about in their life. I don't know if that would help, but like just let me see if the ABC will air a new episode of 2020 entitled The Vanishing Act Friday night. Could make a good movie. I mean, unfortunately, people's lives are affected. I got to read the notes too. She had said, I'm deeply ashamed of myself for my behavior and so very sorry for the pain I've caused my family, my friends, all the good people who needlessly suffered because of my story, and those who worked so hard to try to help me. I will work for the rest of my life to make amends for what I've done. Okay. She was sentenced earlier this month to 18 months in prison, more than double the amount of the time requested by the prosecutors. And damn, so they requested only 9 months, and they gave them double. And will be forced to pay more than $300,000 restitution. Okay, so here it is. Papini's husband, Keith, filed for divorce from his wife of more than a decade. I was wondering how long they've been together. More than a decade. In April, after sticking with her for the past 6 years since the alleged kidnapping. He has filed for sole custody of their two children, Tyler and Violet, 9 and 7. Somebody in the chat was asking for their ages. And he also filed to be awarded. And this is the only way. It seems like sometimes with dads, even though I don't know what's going to happen with the custody, the mom got to do some crazy shit. You got to be, and even this, maybe they'll give her some visiting rights and shit like that. You got to do something nutty for a mom to like lose custody, it seems like, and for the dad to actually get rights. I mean, probably exaggerating a little bit, but maybe it's not that much of an exaggeration. He also filed to be awarded sole use of the couple's rented home in Redding, California. There are 3 cars, a Ford Majestic motorhome. Oh, wow, they got a lot. And a correct craft wakeboard boat. The divorce paper shows she and Keith split up the same day she was arrested this year. And describe how Papini was literally tackled, by law enforcement officers during their arrest outside of her children's school. Was she? They tackled her ass? That's Jazz said it was discarded or something. All right, I don't know why everybody's calling me. Cancel, disregard. Okay. Do they have video of that? Can we get body cam of the tackle? I want to see your tackle. Can we see the tackling? That's sad though, man, for those kids. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is saving those kids too, though. Hot mom, really? I wonder where she got the supermom title too. I was saying earlier, and who dubbed her that? What is the requirement for a supermom, if there's any, or is it just like something that's cute?
Husband, who stood by her side for years, filing for divorce after the mother of two admitted to faking her 2016 kidnapping and hiding out with a former boyfriend. Kaylee Hartung is in Los Angeles with more for us. Good morning, Kaylee.
Good morning, Robin. As Sherri Papini's elaborate web of lies unraveled, so is her marriage. Her husband, Keith, writing in this divorce filing that he and their two children are traumatized and they need time to recover and stabilize after finally learning the truth.
That's tough, man.
Just days after confessing to faking her own kidnapping, Sherri Papini's marriage is over. Keith Papini filing for divorce from his wife of more than 12 years, requesting sole custody of the couple's two young children. In court documents obtained by ABC News, Keith writing, "I must act decisively to protect my children from the trauma caused by their mother."
Sherri's fraud, her fraudulent kidnapping, and then her cover-up efforts and all of the lies that she told to federal, state, and local authorities can be used against her in the custody case. Not only that, but she's going to be going to prison for at least 14 months. And so the court has to consider all of those things when it makes a custody order.
Keith also asking the court to free him from any obligations to provide Sherri financial support. The papers filed 2 days after Sherri pled guilty to 2 felony charges, lying to federal agents and mail fraud, admitting her 2016 abduction was a hoax.
I'm going to do everything I can to find my wife.
Keith speaking exclusively to ABC News just days after Sherri reappeared, describing the moment he learned she...
That's got to be, yeah, such a feeling of betrayal, embarrassment, like you making a mockery of, I don't know, us, our family, relationship. I'm in the news. I'm advocating for you. Maybe he was out there searching and stuff on her and having her back and her side. Damn. And the way he finds out is in an interrogation years later.
She'd been found.
Then I get the phone and, oh my God, honey. And of course she's screaming. It's very emotional. And I love you. I love you. I love you. Oh my God, you're here. You're back. Where are you?
Keith shaken by the injuries Sherri said were inflicted on her by 2 Hispanic women who she claimed abducted her at gunpoint.
They branded her. And in her poor face, I got like nauseated just looking at her. It was so hard for me to see her like that, and bruises were just...
That's I don't even know the word to have the ex brand her and then use that as manipulation, not just for like law enforcement or to get away with your crime, but then to use it on your husband to manipulate him and his emotions.
Intense, the bumps.
That's sick.
From, being hit and kicked and whatever else.
Keith publicly stood by his wife as she lied through a 5.5-year investigation into her disappearance. The divorce filing lists the day of Sherri's arrest last month as their date of separation, noting she hasn't even seen their children in 3 weeks. As she entered her guilty plea, facing up to 25 years in prison and hundreds of thousands of dollars in restitution fees, Sherri saying in a statement, "I am deeply ashamed of myself for my behavior and so very sorry for the pain I've caused."
The judge has granted temporary emergency orders giving Keith full custody and allowing Sherri to call or video conference the kids.
This video was April 25th.
Now, both are expected to be in court in 2 weeks for a divorce hearing, but Keith asked in that filing that a judge hold any decision on their permanent parenting arrangement until after her federal sentencing, which is set for July. Guys.
That already happened. Let me just see some links that were sent to me real quick, too. Oh, okay. This is some interesting stuff. I'm going to get through. Okay, I'm gonna check that out after. All right. Pictures of Papini when she was first found by the side of the road. Yeah, I wonder if there's. It would be nice to get video if we have video. Oh man. Exodus. Yeah, it looks like. I guess it was it a failed branding. Like maybe I should. Let me download the pictures real quick. Let me see here. I should pre-screen the pictures real quick too. Do that. Okay. Okay, yeah, let me show this. Let me show you guys this real quick. Wow, wait till you see this. One more picture. All right. Oh, they all saved. Sorry, pain in the ass. I gotta convert the pictures now from webpage to PNG. Boom, boom. Okay. So this is here. Like she's pulling the same tear she was pulling while during the interrogation. It's by the side of the road. I think there's a 911. There's a yeah, there is a 911 call I can play for you guys as well. Another one. Over here, literally chained up. Really did the work. It's just so weird. Like people that do this kind of stuff. I remember there was one time. So I remember like a compulsive liar, the same person that did that stuff in the front of the house. But like they would literally lie about like what they ate for the day or like just like what they're doing, like just for no reason, just lying. I don't know if they get off on that. Like they're like, oh yeah, I'm getting away with it or something. Exodus here. And this is done like one by one, right? This branded thing, you got to get each letter, each whatever number. And where did they do this? Where in the house? Miss Maddie. All right, let me take a look at the other post. All right. So Sheila, this is who's Sheila? This is somebody in the family. We love Sherri and are appalled by the way in which law enforcement ambushed her this afternoon in a dramatic and unnecessary manner. Exodus 6:1-2. In front of her children. If requested, Sherri would have fully complied and come to the police station as she has done multiple times before, where this could have been handled in a more appropriate way. Sherri and Keith have cooperated with law enforcement requests despite repeated attempts to unnecessarily pit them against each other, empty threats to publicly embarrass them, and other conduct that was less than professional. We are confused by several aspects of the charges and hope to get clarification in the coming days. Yes, let's deflect Sherri's unstable, attention-seeking, illegal behavior and be mad at police who arrested her for breaking the law. And, oh, sure, there would have been no flight risk at all in asking a woman who staged her own kidnapping to turn herself in. What could go wrong? Let me play...
The woman who first spotted Sherri in Yolo County says she is amazed Sherri survived. NBC5 is the only local station to hear her story.
I pulled off onto the shoulder on I-5 and I made a 911 call. And I said, you know, I drove past this person who must really need help.
Allison Sutton had been driving for about 8 hours already when she saw someone on the side of the road early Thanksgiving morning.
I see this blonde woman waving what looks like a brown flannel shirt up and down, desperately trying to flag somebody down.
Sutton was startled.
I could have hit her because she was so close to the side of the road.
Not knowing what was the matter, Sutton continued down the road until she saw a road sign that indicated where she was. That's when she called 911. It wasn't until hours later that a Shasta County Sheriff's deputy informed her she was among the first to see the missing mother of two alive. Now looking back, Sutton says she wishes she had done more. Still, she's amazed Papini was brought home.
It's such a miracle that she was able to get free and to be able to get back to her family. I know it's going to make Thanksgiving a more memorable holiday for me every year because of it, and I'm sure that it's going to mean all that much more to her family too.
Sutton, who
Lotus was saying at Exodus 21:16 says something like, anyone who kidnaps someone is to be put to death. But there's different kind of variations, but it's something to that extent.
who is a survivor of domestic abuse, says it's likely Papini will be dealing with her trauma for a while.
Yeah, she had everybody wound up on her fingers. Let me look at these notes to that Shay sent me. She says she was watching a true crime. I'm rewatching a true crime daily episode. The husband was the one who does all the recording because immediately after she was found, she said in the ambulance that she didn't trust the police because she said the kidnappers mentioned how she was being kidnapped for a person in law enforcement and they are involved somehow in the abduction, so she doesn't trust them. So law enforcement comes up with the idea basically to have the husband interview her. Where's that at? And it says right after she was found, people who were, I guess, questioning her story because it was basically like beating up the victim. Right after she was found, people who were questioning her story because it was basically like beating up the victim. Okay. Her and the ex were engaged back in 2006. Even though she and her ex swear they never had sex while she was staying with him, the DNA that led the feds to her ex was DNA found in her, oh, I didn't hear that, found in her underwear to an unknown male, aka her ex. But supposedly he passed the polygraph. The ex went to work every day. She boarded up the windows where she was staying. A lie they caught in her was originally, she said, her hands were tied behind her back, but then later on, she said she was able to chew her hands free. How do you chew them when they're behind your back the whole time? Yeah. The FBI found in her phone 2 numbers hidden under a woman's name when they were actually guys she had flirted with. She had multiple affairs while married to Keith. She kept asking the ex to hurt her, but he refused to. She purposely hit her head on the bathtub and bathroom floor. She used chemicals that she kept asking the ex to buy so she could clean the house, quote unquote, to cause rashes on herself. He was the one who branded her. Papini and the ex did communicate after she was found, but the feds didn't elaborate on what was exactly said or talked about. She used funds for victims for therapy. Yeah, saw that. Damn. That's crazy. Let me see if there's any other clips online. Ooh, let me check it. Let's take a look at this real quick. Hold on. I guess this
Kidnapped jogger Sherri Papini.
This was 5 years ago.
Was beaten by her abductors. Her nose was broken and she was emaciated when she was freed. Horrific details of her ordeal were revealed today by her husband Keith, who says her face is covered in bruises ranging from yellow to black because of repeated beatings. The bridge of her nose broken. He says she weighed only 87 pounds when she was discovered, bound in chains on the side of the road. Her long blonde hair had been chopped off. We spoke to the woman who found Sherri. What did you see when you were driving along that made you call 911?
I just saw this blonde woman waving what looked like a shirt up and down, just frantically trying to get somebody's attention. I did see her face for an instant, recognized that that was somebody that looked scared, and I called 911.
She is heavily battered. And it is confirmed kidnapping.
Allison Sutton says she saw Sherri flagging down cars at 4:30 a.m. Thanksgiving morning, 150 miles from where she was kidnapped while jogging 3 weeks ago.
And I wonder if she purposely chose Thanksgiving to be even more of a miracle and the center of attention. Like, oh, what a gift. And now we have to give thanks to Sherri or whatever, or people that let her go and it's a blessing, I don't know.
Oh.
Are you staying with the quarter-inch heavy chain and hose clamps on her wrist?
It really surprised me. It scared me.
This is what 34-year-old Sherri, known as supermom to her family, told cops. Her captors were two
So her family knew her as supermom.
Hispanic women. They were driving a dark SUV when they dumped her on the side of the road. They were armed with a handgun. Did anything about her seem staged?
No. The woman that I saw on the side of the road was definitely frightened.
We are still investigating this as a kidnapping abduction, and everything that she is providing us thus far is indicating that.
Sheriff Tom Basenko told Good Morning America that he's looking into Sherri's past as part of the investigation, including an anti-Hispanic tirade posted by a woman of the same name back in 2003. I was drug-free, white, and proud of my blood and heritage. This really irked a group of Latino girls, which would constantly rag and attack me.
You've been able to run that.
Hispanic tirade posted by a woman of the same name back in 2003. I was drug-free, white, and proud of my blood and heritage. This really irked a group of Latino girls, which would constantly rag and attack me.
You've been able to run that down and determine whether it had any connection to this at all?
We are familiar with that posting. That is about 13 years old, and our investigators are looking into that as well.
But a source close to Sherri denied to Inside Edition that Sherri wrote that posting, saying the tirade would have been out of character for her. Sherri's husband says he is disgusted by the rumors and innuendo that the kidnapping is a hoax. Rumors, assumptions, lies, and hate have been both exhausting and disgusting. I understand people want the story, pictures, proof that this was not some sort of hoax plan to gain money or fabricated race war. I do not see a purpose in addressing each preposterous lie.
Oof. That's rough, man. It is rough. I think that's it for today. I mean, as far as this stream. Oh, let me see any other. I think that's it for now. I think we got everything. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Crazy story. And a turn of events. And so they say to what's time she getting? Not getting much time. So 18 months. Did she even have to do the entire thing? The full 18 months? Arrested on charges for making false statements to the federal law enforcement and for mail fraud. In August 2020, she stood by her story when questioned by federal. That's the interrogation that we saw, questioned by a federal agent and a detective from Shasta County Sheriff's Office. Despite being advised that it was a crime to lie to a federal agent, Papini was charged with mail fraud. She had received $30,000 from California Victims Compensation between 2017 and 2021. And on March 9th, 2022, Papini was released from jail before her trial on a $120,000 bond after surrendering her passport. Papini had faced up to 25 years between the charges of mail fraud and lying to a federal officer. However, 6 weeks after her arrest, she signed a plea deal. That's how she got she had to admit to the hoax, which is probably, I can imagine her having to, the way she went on and on and on, but I guess to save her own skin, she had to admit to it in the plea deal. And in September 2022, she was sentenced to 18 months in prison and fined $300,000. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming through. I'm gonna chill rest of the night unless we get a chase. I'll be chilling with baby girl. And I didn't think we were gonna run 3 hours, almost 3 hours. But yeah, what a crazy story. X Civil said that it looks more like Exodus 8:12. It could be. It looks, yeah, it doesn't. I don't know what that looks like. 26 something, whatever it was. Thank you, Miss Jaskell. Appreciate that. I'm gonna do that another time. Stir crazy, because I need to get off just for a little bit. Can you do something on Caitlin Averill Murphy? I haven't heard of that. People have been asking me to do something on Collier. I think maybe this week I'm gonna try to prep something so we can do that. Straight to OnlyFans after the clink. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming through. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And yeah, be safe. I really wasn't affected by the hurricane. I had a couple people message me, and it was like Central Florida. And those people, there's like, I think we talked about it on the last stream, but today when I went to my mother's house, I saw CNN talking about the deaths, and it's like, yeah, it's over 50 something, I think. And in those places, some of those places get hit really hard. I have a friend that stays, I don't know, is it Tampa? I have family out there, which I still haven't spoken to, but I have a friend too up somewhere over there, and she said nothing happened to them. But then there's some other places. It seemed like a few concentrated areas that got hit really, really bad. But there's like all these weird deaths. Like there's one here that says North Carolina man, because I guess it's moved over there, dies from carbon monoxide poisoning during power outage prompted by Ian. There was drownings. Let me see here too. I guess that's why they say to like kind of like stay put when this stuff is going on. According to the governor's office, and this is in North Carolina, 3 of the 4 people killed were in Johnston County. They include a 25-year-old man who died when he lost control of his car and hydroplaned into another vehicle in stormy conditions in Raleigh Road in Johnston County. A 24-year-old died when she veered off the road and crashed into a tree. A 65-year-old man died earlier Saturday morning in Johnston County from carbon monoxide, which we just spoke to. Another man died by drowning when his truck became submerged in a flooded swamp in Martin County Friday night. So it's like all these weird weather-related, I guess, some of them preventable, you know. And when you guys saw me at the beach, I wasn't in like putting myself in a crazy situation. I was literally on the opposite side of where the storm was coming in. But it was pretty windy. The first day I went out there, it was really windy. I was kind of surprised how windy it was out there. The water was kind of rough. Lex, yeah, you had some pretty funny the chat was pretty funny tonight. It's raining over there. All right, I guess that's it, man. Yeah, I'll be back if there's a chase, but I'm gonna do a little cleaning, gonna get some dinner done, and chill with my daughter. I don't know. People were doing some weird stuff too. I don't know. But yeah, take care, you guys. Peace. Love you. Bye. Bloop, bloop. Hopefully we get a chase. That'd be nice. We get a chase. Bloop, bloop.